Where you been at? Simone, who is this person? No, who is this? Who is this person? I don't know who this is. This person doesn't come around here. This person never comes around here. I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. Well, you know, actually, maybe I really am kidding. The Lone Wolf Pack, I see. Yeah, doing some messing around with something right now tonight. So, like messing around with this pattern tonight to see what I can make. So. I don't know. You made fun of me about being your best, trying to be your best friend, or be a somewhat of a friend. You made fun of me one day. I don't know about that now. No, it's fine. I was like, that's Simone for me. That's her. Seems about right. No, it ain't. It's just it's everything word choice when you type something comes out different than what you would actually say sometimes. Like, and then you'd be like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, I think sometimes that's what it is for some people. And then they're like, oh, it's too late. And that's why they have the retract. You can retract it, but sometimes you can't retract it fast enough because the words are so small to rethink something. That's what I noticed. I'm like, oh, you retract that. But sometimes that's not what happens. So. Well, I mean, funny because I know it gets on your feathers a little bit, but I know you like your feathers ruffled. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Yeah, I know you gotta like it's fun too. It's kind of fun and it's all in good fun. Go ahead and alert. Caden can alert. So I was just gonna tell something, but I'm just like grabbing stuff to put together something in my mind. Well, I mean, and Simone, you got lots of besties. That's why I was like laughing. I was like, That's why I started laughing, and they, like, yeah. I said, I know. I said, I'm a drop in the pool of people who've been around, like who are around in some of these things in this world. But what I see is what I see. So good for you. I bet so. There's a bunch of them. That's what happens, though. That's what I said. I ain't showing my face. I said, I'm not showing my face. That might be great. It might stimulate that, but I'm not showing my face. I did once, and then it was like people that I already kind of like was around, and there was like this weird reaction, and I was like, yeah, that shouldn't be the reaction. I didn't like it was good, but I didn't like that reaction. Well, as a guy, you're supposed to like that kind of reaction if you get that from the opposite sex. I was like, I don't know if I like it. I like it, but then I don't. I'm like, I'm looking for the person's mind. I'm like, what's your mind at? How are you gonna treat me? So, but of course, if somebody wants something bad enough, it doesn't matter. They're gonna, your mind don't matter. Evan, what's up? Here. Even though I know you won't come in here, I'm gonna put you on there. Here. I know you don't come in here often, but now you're one of those. Now you one of those. Now you one. One of us. One of us. Simone, one of us. One of. Now you are. Oh, you want me to take you off of there? You want me to take you over there? Can you handle it and be okay and just take it easy like I take it easy. Everybody in here that's come in here is pretty cool people. Uh, Most are like fishing or something else, um, and they're good folks. Some I've actually met in person, some have not. Like, some don't remember I have, and some have. I'm just a fishing person, and well, I'm just like we all are. We're all a jack of all trades. We all are. I think we all are. Yeah, one of us. One. She's already is. She Evan. She already hit. She's already hit like 1,000 on her YouTube channel. I'm just a returning YouTuber person that just was like, man, y'all be getting these people. Some people be getting too much, and I have to. I was like, I gotta go experience something else over here. Let me go travel Washington State. Go see where this trout place is. Let me go to Lake Chelan. Let me go do all this crazy stuff like that I didn't get to totally see, but saw, but I didn't get to stop there and see a little bit and fish it a little bit. That's kind of what I did. Part of a little bit for part of the years while I didn't. I left and then I came back and I was like, oh, now I left again. I was like, no, I don't like getting attacked. So, mm-hmm. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody, what's it called? It everybody, but everybody knows what a biggie shorty potty. Everybody knows everybody. But there's stuff that goes on in the world. It's crazy as all get out. It's crazy as all get out, and we should. I just don't like it when the darkest ones do that, and I go, "Well, that one's the evil person." This is the whole. This is the shit. It's like what Obi Trice used to sing that song, that rap song. Simone, you know that song? Remember that song Obi Trice used to sing? It's like the setup. Like it's like is that the setup? Yeah. Some people just like it's something about that person. That's what the setup. They have a thing about them, and it's not necessary, but stuff still happens around them. Still happens around them. It's like what is that? It's like ooh. So this is gonna be a weird pattern to me. I wish y'all could see this thing. I don't know if it's gonna focus and show it though, but I tried to show it before. I don't know what's gonna come like on the camera. What it's gonna look like. It probably looks different now. Now if you can see it, if you can see it, it's like sparkling. I don't know if it from what it looks like now. Now you can see the sparkling. You couldn't see it when I took a picture of it. It's too translucent. This thing is just too. It's too translucent for you to even see how crazy probably that picture of it really came out. It's just too translucent. Like it's like too it was too much for the camera to even take a regular picture of it because it's just too much stuff going all over the place. And I was like, that's why when I tied it, I was like, oh, y'all can't even see how crazy this is. You won't be able to see it. But now that I put it on live, you probably can. Now you probably can see it. Maybe you're like, dang, that's got like translucent, crazy colors on it. Yeah, that thing was crazy. Didn't seem like it even to me. And then I was like, oh man, this thing is crazy looking. I know, go sleep. That's 3 hour difference for you, almost 3 hours difference. So go sleep. Yes. but it sparkles. It's like it's see the camera has to focus on it. It kind of does better when it's the live because it tries to auto focus. Maybe I don't know. It depends on where you're at, what your internet is. But that thing is actually like it's very translucent. It's got like purples and blues and green, everything to it. Yeah, I've tried it. The light, it's actually meant to be see through. It's translucent, so that's the thing. So you can't see it almost unless you're like right. If you were here in person, you'd be like, oh. I actually have to like get a camera to and set it to pick up that specifically, and then you'll see it. I have to set the. I might have to try to see if I can do it with my phone and really play around with the settings a little bit, and then I set it perfectly. So then you're like, oh, you all everybody can be like, oh wow, like then you can see like how translucent this thing is. It's crazy, and it's so small. It's crazy. The 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 colors inside of it. Yeah, and some green. Yeah, it's like it's actually purple, but because it's passing through kind of like that glue epoxy type thing, and then underneath is brown, it's creating like this crazy thing. So whatever the fish looks at from a different direction, he might see something different. The fish might see something different, might see just brown. So in the evening, it might see just brown because there's no sunlight. But when the sunlight hits it, it's gonna see all kind of. It's gonna see colors as the day changes. So it's, in the middle of the day, it's gonna see like a sparkling thing, and evening might see just a little bit of green or blue in it. And it's translucent. It kind of changes with it, almost like a glow thing, but it's in the day. It's translucent basically, but I basically made my own translucent by tying it. That's basically what I did. I made a translucent thing by tying all the stuff together to make it translucent. It's like three different things to make it translucent by hand. So it's like when I look at it, I see all these crazy colors. When I put it in another light, it looks like it's brown. And I put it in another light, it looks like it's purple. I put it in another light, it looks like it's purple, green, and all kind of colors. Put it in another light, the light hits it at an angle. It's got green on the back and purple in the front. It's got all kind of weird colors. And then on the front, like green, and then yeah. So like when that's floating down a river or something, that's especially if the river's kind of clear, they're gonna really pick it up. Even if it's kind of dirted water, they're gonna pick it up because it's gonna sparkle a little bit. It's gonna pick up any kind of light that kind of hits that little small thing. Exactly. There's actually a fly called the disco, and that's exactly what's funny. There's a fly called the disco, like and that's what it was meant to be after. And this is kind of the same thing concept, but I just did it a different way. Yep. Dance fever. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that one is this. I've only been tying on the 16, the 16s, and those are like really small. Uh, those things, those are just like you can see them. You know, there's an inch notch on my finger, and you put my finger compared to those. They're not even an inch notch on my pinky finger, and I'm a 6 foot person. So if you imagine that, like that's still pretty small, But then if you look at that one there, that's super small. Like that's super small thing, and fish pick those up. It's so crazy. Like fish will actually pick those up in the river. So crazy that they'll see that little thing disturbed from the water and pick it up. They're like, and like that's food. Like easy pickings. It's, grab it. But yeah, just fishing. I was looking. I'm actually getting ready to order something again too. Ended up on me ordering some stuff. I got to order all my new other jigs, the ones I really like to fish, the size I like to fish when I fish the lakes and stuff. And I want to make a bunch of like twitchers for trout, but then I want to also keep my standard ones for bait. So that's going to be really fun to integrate that because I don't fish those ones as much. I don't have as much faith in them. I just usually fish the bait ones more so, but I'll fish those ones too. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to fish those a little bit, just to like toss them around. There's a couple places I went to, and then I was laughing because I saw a video recently. I just stumbled on it. I was like, I went to that spot. It was in Washington, and like somebody I met before, very known steelhead angler, big known one, has books and everything. I met him before, and I stumbled on a video recently, and I was like, I didn't know he made that video, and it was like a year ago, and I was like, I didn't know he made this video. And it's like I was right there at that place, on that river, and I drove by it, and someone was standing down there. I was like, is that nah? And we just kept going, and I was like, then later I was like, see the video. I was like, I saw the bend of that river. I was like, yeah, that was probably him. I should have went down there, said something, but I probably would have interrupted filming if I would have done that at the time. But it's kind of funny, like how stuff like that works. And I was traveling in the same area at the same time. Yeah, fishing is fun, but let's get tying on this artistry. I like many of my fellow YouTubers, even if they don't really know it. I kind of bounce around all over the place. I learn stuff from them. Sometimes I hope they learn something from me. Sometimes I don't think I learned something from me, but I hope that they do. I hope they do. You know, sometimes I like warned people and said like, hey, this is bad. And then I was warned, and then something still happened. You know, those things, but I still kind of like, no, you know what? Still all good. It is a small world, but it's not that small. I mean, it's also like, you know, many personalities. Some personalities don't like other personalities, and it's okay. Like, and then some just like they don't understand you, or they didn't understand you when they talked to you that one time. They took that as that first impression of you. So that can be difficult too, and you can get upset and mad. People have emotions and stuff. So some people have fake emotions too. Some people have fake emotions too. Some people will do fake emotions to some people to really harm or get after people. I don't really like that. But we tie in it here. Someone told me I was like that, but I was just a very quiet person. So there's a difference in being a quiet person because you're like, I don't know if I trust. There's something weird, and versus having fake emotion. We all hurt when we hurt and stuff. And when people do weird stuff, but we have to understand what's happening when it's happening. Why? We're under the watchful eye, always. But some of us have been the eye. So I think I'm trying to decide black feather on tap, black feather on bottom. Bottom, right down, pull up. So I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna do it reverse this way. Yeah, I know when I've been monitored by different people for whatever reason. So a lot of times I didn't understand why, especially as a younger person. I never could understand what was the yeah. I usually don't do this way, but we're gonna do something different. It's always time to experiment something new. Feeling it underneath. I could have done it on top, but I want it underneath. I want like the black underneath, kind of, which I should have done before, but I kind of want to. just want to like make some kind of messy, weird thing. There it goes. Kind of went like I wanted. Kind of went like I wanted it to. Different way. Get the same thing I wanted when I tie the other fly. When I tie the jigs, same effect but different. Black on side, but olive in the middle. Same effect but different thing. I just did it in a different format, basically. So tie stuff, just I don't know. It's on your imagination in your mind, I guess. How you think it should go. So that was like a way to do that really quick and easy. But then sometimes I don't like to do it that way. I want to tie each individual piece in, like, boom, each individual piece. So some marabous I tie them individually, and I don't know, and I get like you look at the tails. But when I look at the tail, I figure that's the fish looking at it from that end, the bottom, sides. So I'll do them all kind of ways, and I've had more success with them being like that. But I spend more on my marabou sometimes because I tie them that way. Because I'm just putting a ton of like marabou, but a marabou takes a lot more to be a filling. If that makes sense, like a filling thing. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna put the black on the bottom. Usually I put it on top, but like it's ergonomically makes sense on top. Yeah. Yeah. It's usually dark on the top, light on bottom, but I'm gonna put black on bottom, green on top. I was like, I'm gonna do it reverse, but it's just for the tail. See, so just the tail has like a weird thing to it, but when you look at it from the back, this is the weird part about it. If you look at her in the back of the fly, you see all the green in the center. There's a ton of green in the center. But look at how did it go on all on the side? But I just put it on the bottom. You get what I'm saying here? So there's an illusion that's in front of you, but when that moves in the water, it's gonna do something different than what. So, if I pick it up, look what's under. Look what it's doing. That was the illusion, which you saw. That was the illusion. The fly tying illusion in front of you that I created in front of you. You just didn't see what was really happening. But that was an easy way to do that. Like get that in there. And I'm not even sure what I'm gonna create right now. It's just like, hey, this is like a quick way to like do this. I know how to do this. And I've done flies this way before. And it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do that tonight. Be fun to show some people something kind of cool. A neat thing you can do with the feathers, how you can manipulate a feather into an illusion without you even knowing, and then now show you where it really. So when that's swimming, you see imagine when it's swimming where the color is showing. It can be showing all different directions when you jerk it to the right, jerk it to the left. If it's on a jig head or whatever. So if I did it on a jig head, it's gonna move even crazier. And I did this. I'm doing this on like I'm gonna do like kind of like a barbell eye, basically. That's what I plan to do. Is like kind of like a barbell eye. I think that's what I'm gonna kind of do. Something similar, kind of barbell eye. But I'm just putting this together. Actually, I was like, I'm just gonna throw it together, and I'm like deciding like, and I'm not gonna put anything black on top. I like how it is on top. I already put the crystal flash in there. I might put, actually, you know what? I will put this in there. I'll put Flashaboo on top of it a little bit. That'll be okay. Pearl Flashaboo, of course. Yeah, that's like a. It's a little. There's little tricks to tying. It's like you just learn when you do it. So that's why I said I fumble with stuff, but I have like my own little things. Like I was like, oh yeah, check this out. Just like, and I'd forget that I even do it. I just you get so used to you start tying enough, tying it, you forget that like that's what that does. And then I was like, oh, check it out. That's why I tied it that way. So that's why I actually tied it that way. But sometimes when I tie something, I don't think about it. I just tie it. I'd be like, I was like, oh yeah, it looks good. Catch fish, whatever. And then later I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like when you really look at that, it has like this crazy detail that you forgot about. You forget that it does that. I'll just put the Flashaboo on the side and then on the other side. Because this is just like gonna be a streamer. Like I'm not like super concerned about it. I'm concerned about it, but I'm not concerned about it. I want the one piece tip though. But yeah, that's one of those like funny things when you play with the Marabous, and then like technically I could like there's another way I could do this other thing too with it, but I don't want to do it. I'm not quite sure if I want to do that. Just like this is like experimental fun. Like just fun stuff. I don't know everything about fly tying, but I definitely have my own little things that I saw when I was tying. They were like, oh yeah, cool. That's a kind of a cool thing. I noticed. Yeah, it just needs one over there. It doesn't need two. Yeah, it's kind of. See, now it's separated. But when I put it on, right? When I put that on, it looked like I just laid it underneath, right? But that's not really what happened. That's not really what totally happened. And see, if I pick it up, you can see that's not really what happened when I. So it's just kind of, it's almost like it's got a cheek and a cheek on the side, and then a green in the center, olive in the center. So it's like that's something. So like that would be like a technique, basically, to me. Like, but that I don't think that's taught to somebody. You just learn that. You pick it up when you start messing with playing with the marabous and stuff. You start figuring little weird stuff out. You're like, what's that? So you can do like that. You can do that in fours, fives, and you can do some. And that's just for a tail. Like that's just a tail. That's just a tail. And then I could take. Like I'm just trying to think what I want to do. Like what shit else did I do? It's coming in pretty good. Like the camera's looking good. So there's just some fun stuff you can do with the. Like, should I put a Marabou? Trying to think for the body of this, because this is basically a streamer, and it's gonna have weighted eyes on it. Let's see. Should I do a Chanel body? I think I'm gonna do a. Let's do. Yeah. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. We're gonna do this. So I'm gonna try to use that piece I used from that other fly. This was like basically the salvage stuff that I found. I was like, oh, and I still have a roll, part of a roll. We're gonna use this. We're gonna hope it um, cooperates. And obviously, you guys saw it. If anybody was watching any of those videos that I recently put out, um, It was not cooperating. It was not cooperating. The tinsel. It was a pain in the. Let's just say that it was a pain in the whatever. It was a pain in the butt. It was a pain in the whatever because it didn't want to cooperate with me. So I don't even know if I like this Chanel, but this is the newer Chanel. Chanel. I don't know if I like it. That's how I know I'm getting old. But I ain't that old. But that's how I know I'm getting old. I'm like, I don't know if I like how it. I was like, I don't know if I like how it. And I'm making a big tail end on this thing, but I don't know if I like how it. Yeah, it's. I'm used to it being wrapped up on a board. I'm like, I don't know if I like it how they have it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if I like how it looks, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. It's just tie material, I guess. We don't get that in there. Put a lot thinner in there. Make sure. I'm putting a lot of stuff in there. I'm just going after it right now. Let's sit for a second. Anybody seen these before? Anybody in chat ever seen these before? Anybody know what it is? Look at it closely. Yeah, it's. Do you see the pin in there? It's like a true pin. That's a real jig. That's a true pin jig. Like it's like a pin, and it's tied down, glued down on side of the a jig head instead of a normal jig head, and puts a weight in the front. So it's like a true hand tie. That's a true jig, like a true jig to me. Like it's a true jig. It's not built in around the hook with lead. It's actually tied with a pin. I don't know. I think some people are still tying them like that way. Uh, but I haven't seen many people tying them still like this. Uh, but I've caught salmon with these ones. I've caught some really nice salmon with this style and other stuff with something tied just like this. And I just keep this one around because I'm like, you can't just go to the store and grab it. And you can look underneath, see if you want to look. You can see the pin. I can feel the pin, the point of the pin. It's literally like a needle pin, and it's tied down and glued, and a little flash, and yeah, catch trout, steelhead, that little thing. Yeah, these ones are pretty cool. There's a guy he used to make them, and I think he shut down his production. He sent me a free one actually, and I would catch tons of salmon with them. Actually, he sent me a salmon size one. He asked me what do you fish for? I said I want one for salmon, and he sent me one. He said you get a free one, and if you like them, buy more. And I went to go back buy them. I was like, oh, I like this, and then he was still around for quite a few years, and then disappeared. But that's what that is. He make them with a true pin. He would take a real needle, put it in there through the lead, through the bead, tie it down, and then tie the feather or whatever else on it. And then basically this would be your twitching jig. This is your twitcher. But they're a little bit more delicate, so you can fish them under a bobber. They're a little bit more softer. Rather than changing the weight, it's just already soft anyway. You know, get a bigger bead on there. And I fished one of those for probably I fished one of those for like humpy seasons when I would lose all of my jigs. I'd pick that up and it was just and all it was a hackle tie. It was and that one was a hackle only tied on it. It was just slapping hackle tied on it, and I would catch tons of fish on it. And I was like, man, those jigs are deadly. And then you just got to get the right color of it. They were deadly. But it was something about that. It's about that bead, and then he had the right weights of them, and that thing was those were the truth. And steelhead were like suckers for those things. And now these other this is your standard to me. That's like your standard jig. These things are not your standard jig. You know, now we got the tungsten and all that other stuff, but that's not your standard thing. You got to tie that onto it, but it's on a jig. It's on the jig arm. You know, you know, it's the same thing as this. It's just more weight forward with that part, and yeah, those were actually pretty good, and I can tie those, but I'm pretty sure I can find the stuff to tie them, but they're just like you're literally tying the bead jig weight in and everything. But I keep a few around. I have them around, like, because trout do pick them up in the lakes and stuff, and perch and whatever. We'll pick this little thing up under a bopper or whatever. They'll just pick it up. So, and you can toss them and twitch them like you're fishing the big salmon stuff. And you can kind of play around with them. They're not quite super heavy when you get them in that size, and they're not super light. So that's what I liked about it, and I think that's why on the bigger size it worked really good. So it was just like when you drift it under bobber, it just kind of does like an arrow jig. It kind of just because it's small made, it's kind of, but it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit more finesse to it, and I think it's because it's a pin, and the weight is a forward of this. So if you look at the other one, a fun little thing, fun little fact about that, and I thought that was really cool. And he had that company, and I don't know what happened, but I looked for them, and every once in a while I find some, but and I'll be like, none. There's like, oh, we're getting rid of our stock or something, like, oh, we have a bunch of those, and I'm like, those are actually like really good, really good jigs. Like, they're actually very flowing, natural jigs, and they're mostly made of they're almost all hackle jigs. They're just made with really good quality feathers and stuff. So, fun stuff though. Let's see. So the body's gonna be brown. Yeah, then we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can do that. But I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not sure about this. This is new. This Chanel is like a new color to me. I'm used to being a little more darker brown than this. It's a little more brown. I'm used to it being a little more darker brown than this. This has like more of a shiny shine to it, which is good, but at like the same time. So for me, this is kind of like I was like, I picked it up and I was like, I don't know if I know about this new colors. Some of the new colors I like, and then some to me this is like new. To me, this is a new color. It's brown, but it's a shiny. I have another type of brown laying around here. One that's brown. It's laying around here. It's darker than color brown than this. So to me, it's like it isn't quite. I don't know. I'm not sure quite what to think of it. Let's see here, right there. Yeah. Okay, down. So this is gonna be like almost like a woolly bugger, but I don't know. It's a streamer. I'm just having fun with the with streamer pattern basically, and see what it comes out with. Having fun with the streamer pattern basically. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not an expert, but I've definitely seen enough materials. And then these new materials, whenever I get it, they're like, guys, get them. Kind of like look at nine on, like look at them, and I'm like, for me, it's like okay, materials, it's fun to play with. Some ideas, I was like, oh, someone already has that idea. Then I was like, oh, I already tried something like that before, but I just didn't think people would think it was worth that, catch that, and then now it's like that's everywhere. Like that's everywhere. That's like that's funny. That's funny. That's everywhere. Like that's I was taught that by like a really old school uh, like attire, old school. So we're gonna do a tinsel like like you're doing a steelhead fly on this one, and hope it holds. Like you're doing a steelhead fly or something. I'm gonna hope it holds. And this is just a creation actually, so I'm just kind of going with my mind and things I've seen and things I haven't seen, and trying to make something I think would be fishy, and leaving enough room to tie the build this up real quick. And this is the part of it. So let's check it. Now it's pretty snug. This will come loose. Like just like that little small one came loose and I was talking about it, it will come loose. It can come loose when you're fishing. It could be like stay like this the whole time, and then it will a copper wire, see when I press it, a copper wire will really keep it from coming loose. But and that's why you see a lot of people tie the woolly buggers and they tie the copper wire. That's why they tie the copper wire in there. That's the real reason. Besides, sometimes they add like peacock pearl too. That's why they really do that. That's why they do it. Is to hold that. But you can also do, and I've did this before and I showed it. See if gravity will do the work. And let gravity. So sometimes I just do that. That's just as good. Fishing can't see it. It's still shining. It's still gonna shine and do all the things it needs to do. It's just giving it a little extra hold. It might look slightly different to them, but it's not enough. Thank you for the folks who did come in. Folks that I mod for too. I love you guys. Thank you. I was enjoying it. I came in and hang out for a little bit, even though you had to go sleep because you're in another other side of the country. I appreciate you coming in. I'm not an ungrateful soul. I just make me appreciate it. We have like a lot of fun times too on other channels, and some don't understand me, some do, but we have a lot of fun just talking about stuff. Nobody's perfect, but we talk about a lot of different. We talk about some fun stuff sometimes. Get deep, get not so deep. Everybody's got a thing. I just want to make sure to get this in there, though. Sounds like trying to get a bead to sit on the tip of that. It's just subtle. Fish is gonna be able to see that under that hook point that good. It's just like it'll kind of bond to that, and it won't, it'll have less chance of coming loose when I fish it when it gets fished. But you don't have to really do that. You can leave it. But I had a few times because I just was like, I tied it. It looks good, and then I was like, oh, and then. But if you really want to make sure that doesn't happen, you just put a wire. You put a wire across it too. But I don't want to put a wire across it. Also, like honestly, it's because I've done enough lures in the last week where I used a copper wire or a gold wire to hold them down. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Let it like get held down by that. Like it's gonna be held down really secure here, and you can see here. That's where you're gonna be issue where it starts to try to keep it tight. And that's why I said this. So this is sort of new material, but it's old material for me. It's just from a different. It's got a different texture than what I'm used to because I have different. So I have like this one. It's got a little. It's small, a little smaller. This is like a bigger texture. So I'm kind of like figuring it out a little bit as I'm going. It's just chenille, but if you've been tying with that same type of chenille for a long time, it's gonna be different. You're gonna be comfortable with it. It's just like I tie with certain rabbit bunny tails. It's like doesn't bother me at all. It might bother another person who makes a bunny jig for salmon. Like it'll just drive them nuts. And for me, I'm like, I'm fine. Like, it'll be fine for me, and for them, it will just be like, what? I'm irritated with this. It's kind of like preference, and then what you're used to, and then you go, okay, I can work with it. Me, I'm just like I try to just work. That's what I got. Right now, I have a type of red rabbit strip right now that I'm just like irritated with that I don't really like, and I want to tie some stuff with it, and I'm irritated with it. So I'm really irritated with it. Super, super irritated with it. Like super irritated with it because, and it wasn't because I needed to untwist it and straighten it out. It actually would look pretty good, but if you look, that's all the hair that came out. That's all rabbit hair that came out of it, and it created a few gaps on a few strips. I was very upset. Even I paid less for this, and that I paid more for this one, and I was like, I'm kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So this just kind of made me upset here. Okay, so we're gonna do. We got that, and then yeah. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna do brown. I think I'm gonna do brown. This one, just to do one brown piece. So I think I'm gonna do brown on it. It's towards the head of it. It's got black on the tail. Boy, it's just throwing off all kind of. Honestly, I could make dubbing out of this. Hold on. Hold on. You hear that anime going on? Naruto just came on. What the heck? Hold on a second here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use the brown on me. Hopefully, stream keeps running. Last time it tried to shut off on me. Let's see if I can brown. I don't think it's gonna. Okay, we'll try it. So we're just kind of playing around with the feathers right now because I want to try something that I haven't really tried that skill in a long time. That's what it is. It's like there's this skill. It's like I haven't tried that. It's like I used to tie some things like that, but I was like I haven't had no need to. I think I found one right here. Yep. And I'm putting in an order to get some other ones of this other kind of feather because I want to kind of play around with this other tying skill. Even though I kind of like bypass that skill with the way I tie the salmon jigs, basically, the Marabou ones. I don't really have to because I still get the same thing. I just use a little bit more feathers when I do it that way, and they're a little bit more tougher though when I use it that way too. The other way, it seems like they fall apart eventually. But that's just my thought process. Purple. Let's see if I can find one. This one right here. Sorry, it's off camera, so you can't really see it. Hold on a second. So what I'm trying to do, if you look at this, see that feather? That's different. It's like a real feather, right? Look at it's a real feather. That's not a real feather. Look, it's like more thinner. So that's the spay. That's not a spay. That is a spay. You know, if that makes sense. So I need that specific one out of there. But these make great tails and spays. But yeah. So we're gonna put those two together. So that's that's what it is about the spay, or when you make a spay pattern, that's what it is. But it has to do with the type of feather and how it's strung. So I'm gonna try to do a purple and brown over it, and then I'm gonna try to put a hackle over and press it back, and then put a barbell or like a bead eye, like a bead chain eye on it. Got my bead chain. I already cut them. Cut the bead chain already. I just don't have a bag to put these in. Let's just hope they don't blow around in our face. This brown feather. So I'm trying to think here. Brown on the top on top, brown on top. See, instead of just sweeping it back and putting it on there, we're gonna try to do something different. See if I can. So you got to do it like an illusion on it. It's like a manipulation of the feather. See if we can do it. Pinch it right there. So basically, just like you're doing a hackle. This may not be the way to do it, or this may be the way to do it. It's probably a lot easier than this other one, though. So maybe like that. So, so it's gonna be purple and blue, even though we have black on the tail. Thing is, when I tie this in, or I'm gonna tie it down, you want this to kind of be somewhat even, and that's what will make. That's what I was having a problem with that one fly I was tying because it has a curve to the bend of the hook, so you really have to pay attention to where the taper and bumps are where you tie. You can't just be all higgledy piggledy. You have to kind of pay attention to it, but that hook has a bend to it. So you can actually palmer this stuff just like you do the other stuff. You can also take it, run your thread through it, like you do um, the what do you call it? And it will, like I did with the peacock curl. As you can see, it's just very soft feather, so you have to be very. You just have to be a lot more gentler than you are with the other feathers because it's not as stiff. So it's a little more challenging. As you can see, it just slowly starts to come out, and you're palmering it, but it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit different process. And it stands up when you do it this way, just like a dry fly. I rarely do it this way, but it's just like it's a cool demonstration of what you can do with it. And you can also take your thread, and if you put your thread inside of there and then sweep it, and that's how you make a spay. So this is almost like a spay. Just have to be. See, like when I did that, it kind of knocked the hair down. It's a little bit of a thing to it. Forward a little bit. Yeah, see, it's trying to. Right there. I got the first wrap. Oh, this is why. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Pulling it so it's all laying to one side. But what I'm doing is I'm doing it with the actual feather itself. So versus taking my thread. So kind of crazy, but like I said, there's different ways to do the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't work as good. Sometimes it does. But it's a Marabou's a kind of a very soft feather, so it's like you really gotta really work with it. Soft feather. See, like that doesn't fit there. Yeah, I think I can only get like one more wrap out of this. It's really fighting me. It's like, no, you're not doing that. It doesn't want me to. Let's do it like this. Let's do it with my hand movements. I positioned everything. Fun stuff though. See, so that would be like how a spade would. See, you can see spade, the hairs, how it's flowing. Oh, that's what happened. It got tangled in there when I moved that. And this is what I mean. Like it's so soft. These type of feathers. It can be it can be irritating in its own way if you're just patient with it. Like I want all those to stick out. There it goes. And that's what I was talking about. So they're trying to wrap under each other, and it's not going to give you the right effect that you want. And now it is going to give me the right effect I want. But I had to box. I had a boxing match right there, working out where things were going. I don't have a little pick bob, the little pin on the pick bobbin anymore. Don't know where it went. Like certain things just disappeared. Like I said, when I moved in, I had them, and then I bought those things all over again. Now they're all gone again. After what I went through, some things I said okay, whatever. But some things I'm like, wow. So now you can see. Hopefully, it's pretty good in the camera view. You can see it. For anybody watching, if you're watching, like the live. If you're just passing through, like the live. I know a lot of people, depending where you are, sleep. It's time for you to go to bed. But as you can see, that's what a spay basically is. What a spay is. So spay fly, that's kind of how you can tie. This is another way you can tie a spay fly. I'm pretty sure there's another way other than this. This is almost like it would be a spay fly. And you can do that same thing on the tail, up the body. But it can be a little challenging. It'll fight you a little bit. So sometimes I like, instead of doing this, I tie the other way. And you've seen that on that pink salmon jig. I'll find a feather that's soft enough, a hackle saddle that's soft enough, and I'll wrap it just on the front end because it's thin enough, soft enough, and it'll give this same effect, but not big, long, flowy like this. This one has a long, flowy, and brown body silver. So, so it's almost like a spay. And then still got a little left. I can use this for something. This goes in my little weird. I put it in my little weird drawer. I have like a weird little area, stick stuff like this. I'm like, oh, because I can use this for this other thing. I stick it away. Sometimes don't throw it away because you can use it to make like weird nymph hackle flies, and you can do some weird stuff with that stuff if you keep it. You can make it into dubbing. You can do all kind of weird stuff with that. Making that into dubbing is pretty easy, actually. It lends itself pretty well to that. It's just it's it's gonna be all over the place as you see it blowing around in here. You can see it. That actually you can turn that into something else. Sometimes you should take that stuff and put it in a little bag, and like a little baggie or something, and you can you might come up with a pattern out of that. And I've done that before. Like, and let me see if it works. And then I was like, then sometimes you're like, I can't recreate that because it came off of something else. Came off of something else you created, sort of. Then you have to go, well, then I just tie a bunch of those and I'll have all them little pieces laying just like I did before, and then create something. You create it again. Yeah. So like now I have like two piles of like a type of dubbing basically laying around here, and then so it ended up like blue and brown. And then what we can do is we got two choices. We can do brown, press it back. I thought I had bought black, and I didn't. I'm not seeing it. You can take this and see what it looks like. We'll grab like 3 of these and see. You can lay those over the top. So whatever your imagination can come up with. 3 of those over the top. We'll have give it a green. Probably like 4 or 5. Probably do 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, press back, or you can do it the other way. Let's see. It's just basically, what does your mind think you can create, and what do you think you're trying to make? That's already a beautiful fly. Like, it's gonna undulate in the water. It's got brown. It's got a little bit of purple. It's green, black. But it's like, for me, it's like it's missing something. It's like, is it that? Is that what's missing? A little bit of green on there. Could do green on the bottom and green on the top. It's missing something. I think I'm gonna go with the. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe it'll look good with this. You know what? It might look good with that. It might look good with that. I've been like holding off on using that. That'll be good. I think it'll 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 be good. Oh, could even put legs in. You can even put the rubber. You could put rubber legs in this too, if you wanted to. And it changes the fly into something else. It's just, I don't know. It's just all in your mind. That looks pretty crazy. If I had a cone bead on here, that's even crazier. FY. Pretty bassy looking thing. Actually, more bassy, big trouty. If I put this on there, now it becomes more bassy, big trout. But yeah, lots of things you can do uh, with the materials. A lot of like ways to play around with the materials. Like, but that would be like the spay. But how they teach you to do spay is a little different than I think, than how I showed it. But I think it's pretty much how you do it. Because if you can see, it's slow, flowy, like a spay fly, like a dirty HOH, they call it. It's a big known river right here. And uh, yeah, it's like there's flies named after that river, um, catching steelhead and catching salmon. Oh, I think the legs look kind of the legs look pretty cool. Little that'd be like, yeah, that's pretty bassy though. We're gonna put them in. I think I'm gonna do the legs. Instead, I'm gonna do the legs over the legs over the top. I was gonna do hackle, but I think the legs will like keep it down underneath, and then I'm gonna put the weighted eyes in. Fun stuff. So like, yeah, I saved this piece specifically because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with it. Because I cut the legs and trimmed them, and well, I guess it found a home, a creative home. Right there. No, things happen. See, went through all that, something happened. Went through all that, something happened. But we're good. This is another life in the day of fly time. Another life in the day of fly time. Like I don't. You shouldn't stress out if you're when you have your little. You have your little imperfection moments on there because every people as humans we have imperfection moments every day. People have imperfection moments every day and we don't know what we do. And then some people seek out to make you imperfection. So using these scissors instead. Yeah, I think this is all right. And I'm going to use my scissors, my other scissors, the ones I always use. All right, dinner. We're pretty much almost done with this. Yeah, it happens, but I don't stress about it. Like, once you put the glue in there, it usually seals it back up. And I've done salmon jigs like that, and I fished that salmon jig for 7 years. until I finally lost it to a log, and I was like, no, I caught so many fish off that one. It's like that one jig caught like 8, 9, 10 fish alone. Like, I was like by itself. Like this other one only caught 1 or 2, or just it's just kind of how it goes. It needs to get there. Need some thinner a little bit to get in there because I just put these legs in here. These legs are very soft because I've demonstrated it in another video. When I grabbed it, I was like, I tried to pull it, as a boop, and the leg just popped. I was like, wow, the leg just fell off. Like these things just fell off so easily. They just came off so easily, and I was like, oh, they're just kind of soft, but they move really good in the water. But they will come. You cannot manipulate them and tug on them too much. Some of the other ones, they're more, they got a more elasticity to them, so you can pull on them. The different companies make different, elasticity of that plastic that they make them from. And these ones, yeah, I noticed that they're like, oh, they're a little bit softer than that. And so I'm like, and that's what happened with this one. When I made that a little bit, so just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, I only that. I think I'm gonna forgo putting this in there too. It has a lot going on there with those. Now that those legs going in there, it's got a lot of. I'm gonna leave this out for something else. I'm gonna leave these out because I'm gonna try something else. Yeah. I'll leave them out and try something else for later. I'm gonna try something else another day. Maybe tomorrow morning or something. So you get your eyes. I was thinking about putting the eyes underneath so they hang down underneath. So it goes down. Just pulls it down. But usually I used to put them up top, but I think I'm gonna try it differently. I'm gonna put them underneath. So put the eyes on, one over, one top over, one over, and then the eyes sit. So you're just doing like an X. You're just making an X. Not an X. Well, ex-girlfriend, I guess. No, I don't know. You're making an X. Basically. One, under, around, over, one, over, around, over, run, over. All right. You're making an X pattern. I'm going to try to make them straight as we can. You're just making an X pattern over it. So you can do 2, like 1, 2. But as you pull it, you can see the eye starts turning that way. Then when I do this way, 2, 3, it starts pulling the eye this direction to even them out. Sometimes you have to do a little bit more and help it. Help it, and sometimes you have to go behind it. I'm careful not to. Yeah, you go behind it to get it to hang down. Yep. There you go. So this one's gonna actually hang upside down like that. See here. So you don't want to do it too much because you don't want to break it. But it's pretty snug. I can feel it. It's pretty snug. It's pretty much done. Nothing. I don't think this is very fancy. I think this is a messy, really done, fun fly with a bunch of different skills put into it to make it. To me, it's just a bunch of different skills used. and might catch a bass, might catch a trout. I don't know. It's yet to be determined. Just have fun, try something. But that's just like a buggy, bassy, weird thing. Just pattern, just a pattern. I don't know. I was just like, I'll put a bunch of like skills in there. Just do like something, make something. It's like, this is what I have here. What can I make with it? What can I do that with? And then, so, because the spay, I don't have everything to make my spays like I would want to. I have the right type of some of the peacock or the marabou feathers. I don't have um, the certain ones like I would want to use to really like. There's certain stuff. There's just certain materials. I'm like, oh, I don't have those three things. I'm like, then I can make that and that and that. And that. There's a couple like type of flash aboos and stuff. They're different than what I have. I need like some colors I don't have right now. I only have certain colors that I just know that are always mainstay, and I can make any. I can always make a basic whatever pattern with some stuff I keep around. You can always make something. It always will be fishable, and so that's just to catch anything. Put it on jig, put it on whatever. But yeah, I don't have the one. I was like, oh, I need those like two colors, and then like a couple types of type of flashaboo. It's a type of like crystal flashaboo. I was like, oh, I kind of need those if I want to tie a little bit of those again, and I need that to like. That's to make the true pattern, the true steelhead pattern. But I could probably make up my own concoction. But it's like, yeah. So like, the hook eye is there, but most likely it's gonna ride. It's gonna ride like that, with the eyes down. So it's basically like it's like a jig. It's basically like just that's all that is. It's just a jig, but now it's got legs on it. It's got a green tail. It's got silver underneath. I'm sure bass would actually grab this too. Would grab this pattern. Just the fact that it's got those rubber legs in it, bass like things that just look like bugs or creatures. They eat so many different things. You find snakes inside bass. You find all kind of stuff inside bass all the time. Found perch in bass. I found crawfish coming out of bass. I found a type of I don't even know what they call it. It's a type of local fish. It's native to here that most people don't even know is in the lake, and that's the bass eat that dang thing, and so do the trout and everything else. And it's a type of like it almost looks like it almost looked like a worm, like a loach, like a long loach, but it's not. It's something else. It's almost like a smelt or something, but it's long, snaky looking, but it's a fish, and it migrates. It migrates too, but it's natural to here, and it's they're like that's like I think that might be a sensitive species in a way. If they're running, everything else is okay. If there's lots of those, everything else is okay. All the things in the lake are okay if they're around. And spring times when you see them around and you see the fish full of them, at least around here, they'll be full of them. The bass be full of them too. Just you catch a big bass, they'll be throwing those joints up, and people were like, "Oh, those are this." I'm like, "No, this is like a type of I don't remember what that fish is called." I looked it up once and I found out exactly what it was, and I was trying to find a picture of it so I could imitate it. And then I realized certain lures, that's why they work really good here. But there you go. It was like almost like a salmon jig, or like almost like a bass jig, but with some other skills added to it. But that's what you would do with the spade, just like kind of like a demonstration of it for fun, on a live. Yeah, it's like it's got eyes. It's got eyes that hang down. It's got legs on it that like move, undulate, will undulate. The tail's got something, but it's all kind of natural colors, pretty much. All pretty much natural colors. But this thing, I was just so happy about this thing, but like I said, it just did not. It just didn't do it justice in the picture on my. It just didn't. It just trying to make a picture of this was just almost impossible because of the translucent colors within it. It's just like too much for the lens to even pick it up. It's picked up all what's underneath it. So that was kind of cool. It's like picked up what the body underneath, the brown part that's underneath, the tan, but it didn't pick up all that translucent shining part. Because I was just like staring at it this morning. I was like, oh, and I came back and I looked at it, it dried, and I was like, oh man, it's like that fly's crazy. I was like, that nymph is crazy. That pupa is crazy looking. It's like too bad you can't see it on that post, on that community post very good. You just can see like the detail a little bit of the wire work and everything, but you can't see what's really going on. But when you look at it from afar, you're like, oh, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, this is kind of like that. That's what this is. Like that's what kind of looks. It's like it's similar, right? Perch, sculpin. It's kind of similar, right? And that's actually I had a pattern, but I gave it to somebody. I'm not gonna say his name. He knows he has it. I gave it to him. He's a YouTuber too. I gave it to him. I said, "You just have it, whatever." I'm not even tripping about it because there's some other. I'm not even worried about it because I gave it to him years ago, but there was something else I was thinking about. I was like, "Oh, I can make this," and I was like, because I saw something somebody else made, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can make this thing like that too." And I was like, "I already made something like that." And I was like, "I just didn't do it like that." I was like, "Oh, you went straight to that." I could do that. I was like, oh, that'll be a fun pattern to like play around with in the summertime in the river or creek or something, or find a little place where some trout are at and play around with it. But it's a different type of it's a different material, a different type of fur. So, which I notified that person about. I was like, hey, sometimes this fur is like better to play around with when it comes to this type of fish. And this is kind of what it is. This is the mimic of it, basically, of it. But this is actually rabbit. These ones. These are actually rabbit, but that one's a different type of fur. And I was explaining to him, I said sometimes that other one seems to work better on the trout and the bass and stuff. I was like, rabbit works too, but sometimes they don't. And crappie like this too, but sometimes you can use the other one. It works pretty good. And then I think he figured out. And he's like, rabbit. It's like you and the rabbit. I'm like, yeah, like it does work, right? It's like it works, right? Yeah, because I taught a lot of stuff. Taught a lot of stuff in those days. And now I don't. I just kind of tie how I feel when I want to feel what I want to do. Yeah, it that one actually imitates a. It's like a sculpin or something. That's what I just showed you. It's the same thing. It's just not in the colors. Green. You could put a hackle or a grizzly. And I was looking at a thing. Beal Herzog I tied, and I was laughing because I was like, man, I'm tying that type of stuff for a long time. And then that video only came out like a year, like that was posted a year ago. And I was laughing. I was like, man, I've been tying that something weird like that for a long time. Just like this, like that's been tying that like 10 years old. I'm 41. I was 10 years old when somebody, like 10 and a half when somebody showed me that. So the rabbit hair has been around. People have been really knocking fish out with that for a long time. It's just how do you want to? What color? We didn't have all the colors and dyes they have now. Now we have it, so you get you can do all kind of things with it. And but really, me, I'm like I only need like 3, 4 colors of that, and I can catch something somewhere. I only need the 4 colors, three colors. I just need to make them in a certain weight on a jig and make them look a certain way. It looks like a sculpin. It looks like a goby. It looks like a this. I just need to interchange some things, and then it's like, yeah, that this works now. So, hey man, hey K-Fish, I was talking about you technically. You probably lurking. I was talking about you, man. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at Frankenstein. There's another Frankenstein lure. Anthony. Yeah, look, I was making Frankenstein. I was talking to Evan G, about it. He was watching me put the. I was showing. I was just kind of like demonstrating some like the techniques of the like the feather, the techniques of the feather, like the spay, you know. So I was kind of showing like the spay, you know, like when you do the spay, as you can see underneath, you palmer this, you can palmer it, you know, a marabou, and see it looks different underneath there. And then I just put legs over it, you know, kind of like a little, you know, we were talking about like it's like a sculpin or like it looks kind of like a bunch of things. It looks like a bunch of things, you know. I was like, yeah, it's just kind of like a bassy thing. I was like, I'm just gonna throw it together, throw something for fun, and but demonstrate what it is. Wrap it. You can do the same thing back here. You could have done it. I could have done it the whole way through and made it like a big old bushy like steelhead jig or whatever else. But I was like, no, I want to like just do something fun. Something fun. You know, some people tie, but they don't want. They're scared. You know, right? Like some people are afraid to try them other techniques that are out there, right? Like they were like, it's gonna look horrible. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna throw something else, throw it together. Hey, it doesn't matter if it looks horrible. I have a feeling if I throw this out there in front of a bass, it's gonna grab it because it's gonna swim. It's gonna undulate. It's got natural colors. And it looks a little bit different than everything else, and then pretty sure it's gonna grab. It's gonna catch something. It's kind of like a funny thing. We were just talking about the different stuff, and I was talking about the dubbing because this one was throwing off so much Marabou that now I have Marabou dubbing everywhere. to like save a way to make something kind of creature concoction. This one, a big old patch of it. I know, man. Anthony, sorry. I know you gotta care about the kids, man. But no, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you stopping by, man. Hanging out. Seeing like what's Run doing over there? Because you know you gonna seldom see me on off and on. I just kind of pop in when I feel like now I'm like I feel like doing something. I just felt like playing with that skill, and then I was showing Evan that I was like I guess I'm just proud of my little Chironomid. But it just that like I was saying to him, I was like that it just didn't do it justice. You know, the camera just didn't do it justice. The pictures just don't do it justice on my post, man. It's so flashy looking. It just doesn't do it justice. Even trying to make a short about it, it just is like, no, you have to like, you need to see it. You might have to see it live. Maybe I don't know what it looks like to you guys, if the quality of the picture is good enough. But that thing is like, it's crazy translucent, ridiculously translucent. Anthony. Oh yeah, I talked to. I was over on Monkey Business. I was talking to him, and he was trying to cook something. I don't know. That was cool. He was cooking, doing something. He was cooking something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. To me, like, it looks pretty. That just looked like a Frankenstein swimming bass fly to me. Looked like a swimming bass fly to me. What it looks like to me. Thing. Okay, Fisher, do you remember these? Yeah, I don't know. I only saw a part. I just tuned in at the last part. I missed it, Anthony. I missed part. I was like, I was like cooking. He was like, I'm putting salt on everything. I was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. And I was telling Evan, you remember this? You remember these? He's like, I don't remember those. You never seen them? K Fish, you remember these? Have you ever seen? Remember seeing these? If you're in here still, you remember seeing these with the pin? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I still have a few kind of hanging around, and I had some I used to catch salmon with, and I still have this one last one. This one I used for trout. I have this one last one I like hanging around, and I was like, I know I have one other one somewhere. I know, I think you still get the stuff to make them, but I used to do pretty well with salmon with those, the bigger size ones. Yeah, yeah, like they actually do pretty good. It's just kind of crazy, like. And I was showing it, and I was like, there's a pin in there, and I was like, you touch it, you can feel that pin in there. The little needle is in there to make those. And I've twitch jigged those before and caught salmon with those. You never done fly fishing, man? It's fun. First thing was to talk to me was like, stop cracking that fly. That's what he told me. Cause flowing motion or else the fly, pow, snap, pop the fly. You actually crack the fly that you have on the end of there. Some people think you just need to whip it back and forth and then that'll pop the fly. He's like, don't crack the fly. It's all fishing. It's just a different way of doing it. Fly fishing is a little bit more artful, I guess, maybe in a way. Gentle. You can kind of be like gentler. I think you get tireder. I think you get more tired when you're fly fishing. I used to get more tired because it's just repetitive. It's repetitive cast, but it's the false casting. Then you learn to take away the false cast a little bit because you're just gonna get tired. You're gonna get tired doing that all the time. But once that's like when you get used. Once you get used to it, like you won't do that as much. You won't need to do the false cast to get the line to come out before you launch it. Like, but you learn that after you sit out there for like whole days at a time, which I did before. Days at a time. Cedar River, man, K Fish. Every day I was on the Cedar River, like, and I was hiking that joint up and down and doing that. And I caught some trout and I caught some big, nice trout. And yeah, I was doing that until I learned how to and I was like, man, I'm getting tired. And I'm hiking. You learn, like, yeah, I don't need to cast like that. Like, you still got to. No, you still do, right? You still got to, but like, I just couldn't just keep doing that when I spent all day, like I got up at, get up at 6, walk to this place. I would walk there, walk like 30-minute walk, 20-minute walk, and then walk there with my backpack, and then I'd walk the river. So It's like, yeah, that becomes like, oh, I better find a way to make shortcuts on, shortcuts to keep so I don't get as tired casting. Because okay, I'm at this place where there's a hole. At this place, there's like a slot little thing here, and then this spot it's like clear, but I know there's like fish there, kind of there. There's like a flat here. Oh, there's a log jam there, but I can't really cast there. Like, and I would have to try to like find my little spots and stuff. A lot easier with a fish with a spinning reel. It was a lot easier to fish those places and kind of you can cast further. Some areas I was like, oh, it's so much easier to fish that little place. You catch something, but there's something to that fly fishing. It's something to it. St. Augustine. Where's that? I'm assuming that's on more East Coast. St. Augustine. Yeah, I'm assuming that's like more East Coast. Florida. Florida. I've only been to Florida like twice, and it was like part of it, and I was like, nah, man. I saw all the alligator eyeballs. I was like, nah, man. And I'm not really afraid of like the critters, but I just know what they do, and I see how they look at you. I know how they look at you, them critters and stuff. I'm like, nah. I don't trust. It's like, yeah, that was a Maidenbauer, right? K-fish. Was that Maidenbauer, I would assume. I missed it. I missed it every time. Even when I lived over there, I missed it. Like I literally lived there, like a couple, like not many miles from there. I could like ride the bus and then like one bus trip and then walk there because I live like I was in Kirkland, literally by the boat launch. I lived like not far from I lived like 15 minutes from the boat launch at one point, and I still missed it then. And I was like, oh, there was a fly fishing show over here. I just missed it. I missed it every time, every year they've had it. I was like, oh, there it is. There's, I get the notification for it from some social media from somewhere. I'm sure there's a lot of flies and a lot of fresh or dope fly ties. Some of them flies, man, that I see, I'm like, it looked really real. Like it's like they really like wanted to make the real ones. Like it's not, that's that's this stuff. That's good, but they're making that other stuff. Like that's the like other. There's like that little other generation in between there, and I was like, oh yeah, they have all that. They put the leg body things on top of the hook, and then tie that down, and then fold the foam over and make it look, all the different stuff to make it look like a bee and all these different things. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I know I've had a few experiences. I had not saying that's bad, good, bad. I had a few experiences with that. I couldn't catch anything with it. Stuff like that. I couldn't catch anything. I was like, I can't catch anything. It's like this should work because this works here. Couldn't catch anything. I'm not saying it's maybe it was just me. Maybe it wasn't the day for it, but I'm sure it worked. Certain stuff works, but like just depends on where you are, I guess, or what's going on. But and I was like, man, sometimes I think maybe it's too real. Like maybe it's too real. Some of those patterns, I was like, it's almost too real. Because I fished a couple things, like I had bought a one or two of something. They came out, and I was like, oh, somebody tied this, and they're selling it, and I bought it, and I tried to fish it. I couldn't catch any. I was like, these fish won't touch it. And then I put like something else on that's within the regular realm of, like almost like a woolly bugger or something. And then they bit it. So I was like, maybe maybe there's something also to it. Like sometimes that it needs to be not super look like the food item. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it needs to look like it. And sometimes the fish, it just needs to look close enough to it. And sometimes I don't think it matters at all. They just bite. They're just feeding so crazy. They just bite anything, almost anything. No, you're gonna be in the fishing kayak. Yeah, I can't do the kayak. I gotta have it's gotta be 16 feet boat at the least. That's the smallest one I'll get in. Now I'm like, nope, I gotta have a deep V or something, or at least something. Even if I'm casting off of it, I'm like, I don't even like bass boats. And I've seen people go in bass boats when it's really rough, and I'm like, nah, that's not for me. And I used to want that so bad. I was like, no. My friend has this other one, and it's like it has the front bow, so I'm like, okay, I can cast on the front. But I haven't talked to her in a little bit, like, man, but I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I was like, this is cool. We can like go around. Like, if we go, we can kind of like, I can like walk up here, we can sit up here. We used to just go in the winter too, put a heater, and we can kind of put the thing up and then just kind of sit. But she works so much to where she just works herself away, and I'm like, oh, you need to go fishing. Some places, yeah, you can't get into like what's this? Since Snoqualmie, it's got a lot of trout in there. And you have to use barbless hooks, and it's up in the Snoqualmie, like right in Snoqualmie. And it's pretty much to me that's an alpine lake, but it's in Snoqualmie pretty much up there, like it's like across from it's south of Mount Si, but only by I want to say that's like 10 miles from south of it. And that place is like that. You need like a kayak or you need like a float tube, but there's no boat. Like no power boats are allowed in there. So you can use like a little electric or something. And you just paddle around. But I went there like in summer, and it was crazy because all you could see was trout rising everywhere. Like I was like, oh, this thing is just full of trout, but everything but barbless, and you could keep, but you're allowed to keep. So that was kind of cool. You're allowed to keep, but it was just like they're just everywhere. I was like, this lake is loaded with trout, but they're all like, they're all like 12 inches, and there's a few big ones in there. You had to weed through all those ones, but there's some big ones in there. And I was like, this is crazy. I was like, they're everywhere. And that was in summertime. I was like, they're everywhere. Like it's so bad. Like you can see them porpoising and they're sipping bugs and they're just everywhere. There. And my friend was like, why aren't you fishing? And I was like, man, I'm not even gonna go in the boat. There's so many here. I could just fish from here. And he went in the little canoe. He was like going around. I was like, put this on and maybe you'll catch one. And then I was just like, he's like, why aren't you fishing? I was like, you know what? This is like, nah. And I just like, I'm not even gonna fish. I was like, I'm gonna come back here though. One day when I'm not catching anything, like in the summer or sometime, I'm gonna come back here. I'm just gonna have a fun time throwing maybe like a trout bubble, throw a trout bubble like with a fly or something because they were just rising everywhere. Those fish were just everywhere, all different sizes, just everywhere. I was like, there's just so many fish trout in here. Yeah, I got these. So I'm like looking at this. So these were the disintegrated Betsy bugs, old Betsy bugs. And instead of buying new skirts to go on them and fish them with a jig and crawl or something, they got that crazy like stingery like hook on them. I'm just gonna tie on them because they just what happened was the collars to hold them they just disintegrated. And I have like quite a few of them around, but these two like they just fell apart. I like went to grab them one day and I was like, what? I was like, okay. That little rubber piece just went away. And I was like, oh, well, I guess like something in the box or something near the box decided to get to them. And I tried to put them in the air to dry them and they still I said, oh, they'll be fine. And they didn't. They weren't fine. But yeah, they're already like done for me. I was like, oh, yeah, I was like, I'm just going to like pull this back and like I'm going to tie something on them. I'm going to tie like some kind of hair jig or something on them. Tie me up a dope. You tie me up a dope chick, man. There's a bunch of them over here. I got like a whole thing over here now. They're building up now. They're like all hanging up over here. But Marabou's are more my real humpy jigs are like my real thing, and they're easy fish to catch. But I've played around with the colors a lot to see kind of how they act. But then coho have always kind of eluded me sometimes, but not of the last. I'm like, oh yeah, you like that. Oh here, I gotcha. Oh here, I gotcha. Kings either they haven't totally eluded me. It's just I think it's like different river, different stuff, different tactics and stuff. Like I went to the one guy was like spinner. He's like that spinner is the only spinner they bite. He messaged me. This guy messaged me. He's like, that's the only spinner they bite. It's like really. Messaged me that before, and I was like, you messaged me this before. And I said, yeah, I always keep one of those around because actually the coho over here, they love that blue Vibrax spinner, the number 4. They love that color. Like, always keep one of those around. They love that color. So I always have like 2 or 3 of those. And then I keep the number 3s, but usually I keep the number 4 for sure. And then number 5, but most of the time that number 4 is the one. Number 3, number 4 is the one. Yeah, they actually they pounce on those things. Actually, it's really crazy. I think what it is that they don't know what the bite feels like. That's what it is. Once you know what the bite feels like, then you're like, oh, I missed a fish. I missed like 5 fish. Then you realize you're missing a lot of fish. You fished that hole for 3 hours and you might miss 5 or 6 fish. You could have landed 5 fish. And that's what happened to me basically. I used to fish a lot of spoons, and the same thing with the spoons, but it's spoons is like a little different. But you can feel them because that bait move. You can feel the fish get close to the spoon because it's making a movement in the water. You can feel them moving the water around the spoon, and there's a fish near it. Same thing with the jig sometimes, but not always. But same thing with that spinner, but sometimes that spinner they grab it so crazy, it's slack. So and jig sometimes too, but it's slack. So you have to be really paying attention to that. I caught some really nice fish like that, and I didn't realize. And then the guy next to me told me he said, man, you playing games over there. And then I said, it's fish. And I like reel. And I just put my pole down to the water and reel. And then just pulled back, leaned back. And then he's like, what? And then zzz, and he's like, no, he snagged it. I said, no. I said, that fish is slack line bite. So like he hit the spinner so hard, so fast to where he jumped on it so fast that I had total slack in the line. And it was just going across the river, going across that flat that I was fishing. And he was like, what the heck? And I was like, yeah, that fish wanted to eat that thing. And when I got the fish up, it's like at the top of the mouth and like down in there. And I was like, yeah, he tried to swallow this thing. Like that's crazy. I was like, that's a spinner. Like, and then after that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sold on spinners. You just have to know how to fish them and the pace to fish them, right line. Is this a deeper hole? Is that like, oh, this hole's like got a tree stump. Let me watch out for that. Like, fish them. I fished them this last time, and I did. I got hooked 1 or 2 coho, couple B runs. I hooked a B run on the Fire Tiger Vibrax, and then I lost it, and then I hooked like the other color I was using. I don't think it was purple. It was Forget the other color I was using. See me casting, but if I didn't get the footage, but them fish were rolling. Yeah, like I got a couple where like I didn't land anything, and I was like, oh, I'll come back tomorrow. And then the next day I came back, and I was like, fished the spinners, lost the fish, and then I was like, I'm put the jig on, and then like, boom, jig, and then that fish bit the closest to the bank of the lake or of the river. You know, the fish bit like 4 feet from the bank. It followed that jig all the way in, like 4 feet from the bank, and then I like jigged it, and I was like, I'm just about to pull it out, and then I felt something, and I dropped it back down, and then oh, I was like, there's a fish there, and that was that. Like, I was like, oh, cool. And I was like I was like almost by my lonesome. There's like only one other person fishing, and I was like, this is sad. I was like, this is good. There's like nobody else here. Just me and the fish, fishing the jig. And the day before, I was upset because I was like, I lost all those fish. I started late, wasn't feeling good. My health it's not been the best. So, a little bit better now. But I don't know. I do like my fishing, man. The hoochies. Yeah. I keep hoochies around. Using them. But you can see that's like the wire, or like the wire. Like I just threw it on there because that's like I expect the humpies to grab it. I have had a few incidents, few bad incidents, man. Where here, since we're sitting here just chatting for me, I might as well just put one in the vise. But yeah, I had a few incidents where I ended up hooking stuff I wasn't supposed to hook with what I had. I got I used to because when the humpy run used to come, I used to do the sporting fun thing and put the bass rod out there and 8 pound line or whatever. At first I just used 10, and then I just like I can just put 8 pound, that'd be fine. Yeah, that was a bad idea because then that's the day you catch the king or hook the king, then you on a lure that's meant for humpies or something. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, that's the day you hook the fish that's you're not supposed to hook with that, and you're running up and down the bank, and everybody's looking at you like you don't have anything on there, and you're like, nah, you don't understand, and you're running up and down the bank trying to hope that you can land something on 8 pound line on a bass reel. That bass reel is destroyed. Never again. Like that bass reel, I look at it all the time. I still have it. It's retired. That eagle claw reel is done. It never will be used again. Never again. Tore the gears up out of it. The drag doesn't work anymore just from that one time of hooking a fish like that. Hooking a big fish like that will never operate the same again. Yeah, that's crazy. That was a fun outing, but it was just, afterwards I was like, man. And I did land a fish to take home for dinner, but that reel never. And then when I put it down, I cleaned that reel, and then it never worked the same after that again. Like it can never go to the salmon river again. It can never go to fish for salmon ever again. You can never fish that reel for salmon ever again. It's done. That reel's done. But it's a great story, and I just keep that reel and I look at it sometimes. That that bass reel. I'm like, oh, that was my bass reel that I should just like take out for pinks, and that was the day that something bigger than that grabbed a hold of that lure. grabbed a hold of the. I was using crocodile. I was using the little small crocodiles spoons actually at the time. The small little crocodiles with the little, they got that little red piece on them. And then what I would do is I would paint the bend of the hook pink with like pearl pink fingernail polish. I would just paint that little piece pink on the hook, the little hook bend. So I would just paint that, just like so it would just kind of drip right there. And then on the actual spoon, I just paint a little bit on the end, a little bit pink, and that's all I would do. And I'd catch a ton of humpies like that. And it would be just a chrome spoon with a little bit of like pearl pink fingernail polish on it, and that would catch tons of pinks. And apparently, you can catch kings with that. Apparently, kings like that too. I didn't know that until that day. I said, "Well, okay, never be careful." I've caught them on a humpy spoon, hooked them on a humpy spoon before too, just at random. So you never know. That's what's cool about when you fish for salmon and they're all running together like that, I guess. Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, okay, it's not doing this, it's not doing that. Hey, I've had humpies jump though. And people were like, they don't, I was like, I was like, it's jumping like a coho. It's like he's jumping. I was like, wow, I had him jump before. I was laughing. The guy's like, he's like, they don't really jump. I was like, as soon as the guy said, oh, it's like he's jumping. I was like, yeah, I said they jump. But those were fresh, really fresh ones. They all had lice on them, and they were really fresh ones. Silver looking. I had my cooler. I had ice ready to go. I was like, I'm gonna get some today. And I was like, I had my ice and everything ready. I was like, I know I'm gonna get them from this spot. Like, there's no way if I don't get one, then something's wrong. But the Kings, man, they're just. I don't know. Like, which one's better? Which one? I think I don't know. Like that coho I caught, the last one I just caught. Like that's that's the last fish I caught before the run's pretty much done. It went crazy when I hooked it though. He went. He like it like rolled. It just went. It lost its mind when I hooked it, and then all of a sudden it acted like it wasn't hooked, and then took off again, and then didn't jump. It just came up and then just kind of splashed and went down, and then it did that thing that they do where they where they roll you in the line. That's what it did. It rolled me up in the line. So like it was rolled up, and then he acted like, yeah, I'm not, I'm done. And it came up to the top, like, oh yeah, I'm done. Like I'm right near the bank though, and I was like, you're not done. You're not done. You're playing possum, and as if I reach down there, you're gonna take off. If I reach down to grab that fish, you're gonna. If I go take this net over there, that fish is gonna take off, and you're gonna be gone off the hook. That little thing they do. Sometimes they do that little thing. Those coho sometimes they like they're playing possum or something. Salmon will do that. I'm like, man. I was like, I've seen this before. I was like, I've seen this trick before. I know what you're about to do. Yeah, this one though, I was up off the. It's the bank is up off the water depending on the tide. So sometimes you're right there, so it's easy. And so that's why I carry the net with me. And then sometimes like, oh, I can just like I have a true beach like sand beach. I can like there's other area I can go and I can like beach them, and it's like, oh, I can just play it out. And like, but that situation is like, yeah, it's like almost like it's a slightly undercut when it's like that. So I was like, oh, he could go under. He can go under there and get me tied up. I was like, this is a trick. Like It's like as soon as I go to reach, I know it's gonna happen because I had done it before in that spot, and I've like tried to grab them, and fish was gone. I lost a lot of them on spinners like that there. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. It's on a jig, so I know it's hooked good, but I was like, nah, we're just gonna wait. I just let it. I let him unwrap him, so let it unwrap itself. And I was like, let's see what you're gonna do. And then I was like, it tried to do some more runs, and I was like, nah, you're not that big, but it's big enough. It's big enough to where I want to land. I don't want to lose the fish. And that's the only fish I got this year because I started so late. I only fished for 2 days. I literally fished 2 days, and I got my fish on the second day. I didn't even fish all summer. I was just like feeling pretty crappy from all the stuff that was going on. What surprised me was how aggressive they were, and I was the only one fishing. And maybe that's why they were, because I had a lot of fish follow my lures that day, especially when I first got there with the way the tides were and stuff. I had a lot of fish follow the lures, so I was kind of surprised. And I was like, "There's only one other person, and these fish are like, hot, they're hot. Like they were. Like, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna bite. Like it's just a matter of when." So like within, I got that fish at like the 2.5 hour mark or something. And then I was like, keep fishing. I saw some chums. I was like, I saw some chums go by. I had my polarized glasses on. I was like, yeah, I'm going home. It's like, yeah, I got what I came here for. Like, caught it on a jig. That was fun. Going home. Not now. Heck no, man. My bones don't allow me to. Man, I was a basketball player, man. I was dunking on people and stuff. I can't be. My knees, man. I was having a horrible time. Uh, when we had that little snow, I had a horrible time. Every time it does that, that's like only that specific weather forecast. I have horrible time. My knees have a horrible time. It's only the right side of my body though. It's only my right ankle. It just starts going nuts. My body starts going nuts. It's like you need to sit. You need to warm up that ankle. Put something, wrap it up. And I was out in the snow too, helping people. Again, same people, but same people too. They were stuck and acting a fool, which I knew exactly what that was all about. But yeah, I can't. Mm-mm. I used to, man. I used to be out there in February and just sitting up there, steelheading and just sitting there by my lonesome. Now I look at it a little differently because the body's telling me. I listen to what my body tells me. It's like if it says you can go, you can go. If it says nah, man, just wait till this time. That's what I do. It's not worth. It's not worth damaging myself more because I've did a lot of that when I played sports, thinking I was gonna go do this or do that, and, and I was doing things that some people couldn't do, but I done changed my mind to how I view that stuff. But I would probably still go if the weather wasn't too cold. But I noticed other people weren't going either though. I checked in on a few people. I didn't see them really going, and they're on the west. They're over here on the coast. They were like, I don't see you going. I don't see you making no video. You go. And then someone asked me, they're like, why aren't you going? I was like, usually I would go. I was like, I missed my window. It's like it's kind of like that. Like you like your window of time. You're like, I should have went this day and this day. I didn't do it. I didn't go. I didn't go. Okay, then this is not gonna happen. You're like, it's not happening. I don't mind it though. I used to like not mind, but you got to get your right gear. when you go out there in that cold like that. But I used to go, but like you said, they closed down your stuff. You guys up there, up north. And I looked at the thing, and they closed it down here too. Like in a way, what they did was they just said, well, no fishing in that area no more at this time. And usually they would just leave that area wide open. Like you can catch trout, you can just kind of you can go dink around, and you might get some fish, and you might get some fish going back out to sea actually, because I fished this one area, and you get some steelhead that are going back out. So they're like colored up. They're a little weak, like, but they're going back out. They're actually not going up. They're going back out. That's what I realized. Some of those fish were going back out. They're not coming in. They're just kind of flowing down with their current, and they're just kind of going back out and feeding as they go back out. And I've seen some fish like that in that river. And I was fishing there before, and I've had them follow follow spinning glows in and everything else. And they said you can keep them if you catch it there. And this year they're like, no, you can't even. And you'd be by yourself too, fishing for them like that. And I've had fish be there, and they're like, no, you can't do that. Not this year. They're like, they shut it down like a month ahead of time, so you can't fish it like that. And I was like, well, nobody hardly fishes it anyway. I'd probably be like one of two people fishing it like that, just to see what's going on down there, and to see if there's even if there's even trout around or anything around down there. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. They just shut that. They shut us out too, up here, down here too. They're like, nah, you're not doing that either. You're not gonna pick up any fish, even if you're not gonna keep them to eat. Like, there's like you're not gonna be able to fish it at all. And I looked at the regulars. I was like, that's weird. That's open. At least usually it's open till February, till like towards the end of February, like mid-February. So you get a chance if you steelhead that are in there, and they're like, no. And they left it like that for years, and this time they're like, no. I was like, wow, they changed that. I said, oh, they're probably protecting those fish then. Because I definitely would see those fish in there. And I would have those fish follow my lures in and drift eggs sometimes. And I would kind of jig my eggs back in when they come to the bank, and I would see steelhead come in after it. So, and then swerve off because the water's so cold at that time of year. At this time of year, I think the water was probably like in the 30s or 20s, 25 at the times when I was fishing there. So I was thinking, well, maybe I can go there. And then I was like, nope, they shut our stuff down too. But if you're in here, drop a like, just hanging out, chatting, fishing, time. I'm just gonna tie simple humpy jig since I was talking about it. Tie one real quick. Tie a pink and white, and we'll try purple. I've been tying some trout flies and stuff to kind of get away from tying jigs because I've been tying jigs so much. I'm tying so many I tied so many jigs to where it was like, let me just tie some flies or something, you know, like tie something like emergers and chironomids and tie some other stuff that I know how to tie. I was like, I'm tie those things. The one I was like, I totally forgot about the name of it. I had forgot the name of it. It's a little bit rocky right here. It's going off there. Dinner's getting to it. Yeah, it's make sure it gets in there. Yeah, it's kind of. I think that's yeah. One guys were catching the chums though. They were getting the chums this year, and I was like spying them because I was fishing the area before they get at them. So I was like, I get to see them before they get a chance at them. So I saw some really large ones come through there, and I was like, oh, there's some really big ones coming through here, and I just couldn't. And then when I went back in there, nope. The seals took it out. Like I was saying before on a different stream, I was like, the seals ruined that, and then I just like lost my motivation to even go back. I was like, the seals are having better fishing than me, so let them have at it. Bro, I just let them have at it. Yeah, I still haven't gotten that video either. It's on my laptop. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can try to edit that to get it because the camera tried to fall over as the seal's rising up. So, and you can see like the seals come up and like look and like harbor seal and a sea lion. It's like it's both, and they were having a chum feast. And I was like, man, so why I'm not catching nothing. A lot of times I fish through that though. When the seals get in there, that just lets me, they know that there's salmon in there. And I just kind of wait for them to kind of push the fish around, let them fish settle back down, and I keep fishing. But I tried that, and I just sat there and 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 sat there, and that was just not it. It was no fish for me that day. There was just too much. It wasn't just one seal, it was two. So. Some of the stuff right here. I don't need this one for dummy. It's on my list though. More white marabou. White marabou. But whoever's watching, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Drop a like. Just talking about fishing and fishing stories and what goes on and tying lures. So like this, you could like so I was thinking of that, and they're like, this person was like, palmer. So like you tie the tail in, then you can palmer up the body of it. I was just like, yeah, not. Chenille's kind of a nice thing to be able to use instead of doing that. But when you're making for the space, pretty nice. Where's my Well, look here. Now let's put that in there. Over that. Can always put that in there over that. Then it'll be shiny. That's been my theme lately. I was like, shiny. Ever since I made that mid, that little Corona mid. Like, shiny. When I first made that thing, I was like, is it going to come out like that? Oh, yeah, it is. Like, that thing is shining like crazy. And we're going to put, I have the pink. We've done the pink and purple. We haven't used this, though. It's purple. We haven't used this purple before. Never used this purple before on this one. Let's see. It'll be fun. But these are more like, like the woolly bugger saddles. They're not like the other one that I was using. Purple and pink together. Yeah, we do that. Do a combo. And then we got the fluorescent pink. Or it's in here somewhere. We got fluorescent pink. I have like a softer pink. I know I do. I just got stuff everywhere right now. Sort of. Silver? No silver. We did flame. K-Fish, if are you still in here? Do you ever weave? Do you ever weave your chenille ever? If you're still in here. I'm wondering that. Do you ever weave your chenille? Like that one I did, the one where I weaved it and it has a like a belly to it. I'm sure you get a lot of them. Yeah, like that chenille. The glue. This one. Where is it? Like this one. It's a weave. That's a weaved, just basic Marabou jig. The belly's pink, and then you got like a flame red, orange on the top. It's weaved in there. I should have done it with purple. Purple would probably have been better. Purple would have looked nicer, I think. The chenille, you don't know? You know, you've seen it. You saw that. I'm sure you saw that video, or maybe. I know you got better things to do, probably. Weave. You weave it. So there's ribs in there. If you can see the color, there's ribs. See, it has ribs, like a leopard or something. It has ribs, so it's like a pink in the belly. It's hard to see it, but it's flame on the top. So if you look at now, you can kind of see the difference. Pink in the belly on the that part, flame at the top. I should have done reverse, so the pink on the bottom, lighter, flame on the top. That's what I should have done. But I fished that and it works pretty good. I fished that weaved like that, and they work pretty good, just the same. Pinks don't bite matter; they don't care. Pinks don't care, but change it up a little bit with some colors. Not sure if you get the right colors. Yeah, I've been kind of doing that for a while. Since when I got off of YouTube and then went back, I make a couple like that, and I always lose them. I always catch a bunch of fish with them, and I lose them. Let's just say that I catch some fish with them, and then I lose them. I cook the. It's just like the river takes them from me. I go tie another, tie more, and I always only tie only a few, just to play around with. If the river takes them from me, it's like sorry, buddy. And every time I fish them, I usually do really well. And then the river's like, nah, I think you've had enough catching for today. And then I lose them to the river bottom or stump or something. No, you do not. You just try to make me feel good. Thanks though. I appreciate you're making me feel good though. Thanks, man. At least make me feel good about something in this world. We have the holy fish grail. You know, we do have that. Right? We got the holy fish grail of catching. We get to catch, tie, create, have fun with the stuff, and sometimes show others. The holy fish grail. Yeah, the holy fish grail. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the UV eventually. This UV eventually and try it out. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm so used to tying this way. I don't know how it's gonna work, man. You might see me tying some weirdness. Yeah, like Run is tying some. Trying to tie. Hey, look at Run trying to tie. Like, look at Run trying to tie with that UV. Because like I don't know, like learning how to do it. I might have to let it sit for 3 minutes. You know, then you have to like make sure to shake it and turn it. You might see me doing that too, trying to figure that stuff out. Because I've never used it. I've never used the UV glue before. So you might see me doing that to you. Be like, look at Ron using that. Look at Ron on his live. This is funny. Look at him trying to tie that salmon jig over there. Yeah, that one get me every time I was watching. I was like laughing. Like, that's hilarious. He's like, you. It's just as good as like something my dad told me. My dad told me one day. He said, anybody listening, some of the people who like grew up with me too would know. I used to talk about fishing when I was like in junior high and stuff. My dad was, I was like, Dad, man, catch this big fish out of there, man. We're gonna catch a big fish. And he's like, oh, really? He said, you want to catch a big one? I was like, yeah, I think we'll catch a big fish right in that spot. And I was just a little hopper. I thought it was so great. Hopping around the lake and Covington. I thought it was so fun. And I'm catching me a couple of trout, and I caught me some little bass and perch and stuff at this lake. And he said, well, hey, if you really want to catch a real big one, why don't you wade over there and pull your pants down you'll catch a real big one then. I'll catch a real whopper with that worm. And I was like, oh my goodness. That was what was told to me as a child. So imagine that. And I said, what? I was like, what? What's going on? I was, and I said, oh, whatever. Little kid, whatever, Dad, whatever you. I was like, you got me, just out there fishing and stuff, hanging out. Yeah, that was funny. That was hilarious, actually. Look at the feathers just floating around. Yeah, that was hilarious. That one always is in my mind all the time. Why don't you wait out there and pull your pants down, then you see if you can catch a big one. Then like, go catch a big one. Basically, like I was like, okay, dude. I was like, all right. Matter of fact, that lake was a lake that had, for some reason. Should I use a copper? Probably not. Gosh, this is gonna be fun. See how this turns out. I'm gonna do purple and blue. It's almost time for a new bobbin. This bobbin or whatever bobbin too. Because this I've had this same bobbin since I was a kid. It's done its work. It's done its job. It has done its job. And back then, that was expensive. This was considered expensive. I actually showed the price of what this Badger costs, and there's the price on it. $14.99, which is grade 1. So that's like the top of the line back then. You can we get it for that price? Anybody know? No, we cannot get it for that price anymore. I don't think. I wish we could. I was looking around for a couple other ones I wanted. I was like, I just want this other one like that, so I can like tie some bass stuff a little bit. And I wasn't finding that price point for the quality feathers at all. I was like getting kind of. I was like, man. I was like, it was like $60 was like the cheaper thing. $60 was like cheap, and people were like, there was like complaints about it at that price point. People were like, I don't like it. People were like, mm, yeah, we're gonna have to build this body up a little bit on this. We will use some of that old duck quill that I used. Probably not gonna make anything with these little pieces. We'll use old duck quill. Yeah. So I do stuff like this. I'll use like duck quill or stuff I have laying around to build the body up. I'll just do weird, stupid, goofy, fun, goofy stuff like that. This is just to build that piece up because I tied it so much. I could have tied it in smaller or less, but it's like I'll do stuff like this. Just like build it up a little bit there. So when I wrap all this stuff, it's at least somewhat even. I was definitely struggling with that shrimp though, a little bit with the shrimp hook, because it's that curve, the curve to it. Those are actually kind of tough. This one I made a shrimp hook, just but that one right there, that little guy. That one was like I was like pulling my hair out, and this one here too. You can see it next to the other one. I was pulling my hair out. I was losing it, I was losing my mind, basically tying that. I was like, this is like making me irritated right now. So we're gonna try to do this. I don't know how this is gonna come out. We're gonna do stuff that we shouldn't do. Doing stuff we shouldn't do tonight on this fly, on this jig. We're just like we did with the other thing. We're just putting skills in there. Like that we should use or shouldn't do. See what we get, and then I will call it a night because it's getting late. It's getting late. It's getting late. I'm sure people got to go to work, got to go to sleep. Me too. Okay. We're gonna just like do like intermingling this in there. Let's see what it comes out to be. I don't have any of that other kind. I see a lot of people using that other one. People be using. I don't have any. So we're gonna try to make it like a dubbing. See how it comes out. Uh-oh. Somebody got. What is it? What they say? Yeah, they are. Oh man. I struggle with them too. The 18s and the 20 is like, and I used to tie those all the time and not have a problem. Nah, not now. Like now I'm really just like, yeah. 16 and 12 is like, that's 16 is like my limit now. I think 18. I mean, I can do it, but I think it's just not. I think it's just my eyes and stuff. It's just my eyes be looking at it, and I'm like, no, this is not. I'm like, this is not the business. And someone commented actually on the one. He's like, "Isn't it nice? You can see that." And I was like, if you would have seen my face when I read that comment, I was like, frown, instant frown. I was like, it's like you have no idea. And I was about to respond to him and tell him, and I was like, never mind. Like, that's why I picked. That's why I grabbed this. That's why I grabbed this thing. Now I'm like, can we look at it off camera, kind of? Can I just look? I got my glasses, but my eyes are like still fluctuating from whatever was done to me. So some days I'm like see really good, and some days it's like, oh, some days it's really good, and some days it's not. It slipped out of there, didn't it? It did. Some days it's really good. Well, by hand it is. What's that in there? Hold on a second. What is that? Oh, something floated in there. Nope, by hand it is. It's okay though. In this situation, it doesn't matter that it broke. And I don't care if there's gaps either, because that's kind of going to be the point of this. But we're going to see if it works. What I'm thinking in my mind might come out right. It might come out wrong. I don't know, man. This is like a concoction creation, just like the other one. I was like, I'm just gonna create stuff. I just wanted to create stuff today. Like I didn't care if it was. Yeah, it just kind of. No, it just slipped out of the thing. That's what happened. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna pick it up now. Yeah, I'm just doing this for fun. I don't know. Probably gonna cover it up when I put the Chanel across it. It's probably gonna cover it up. That's what I think is gonna happen. But it'll be fun to see. That probably catch a fish right there. All right. Just bat on the hook. So I go this way. We got these two here. So this is kind of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to like make it like ribbed. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I think we're like right there. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. Probably should have put wire in there, maybe. I don't know. Just create something. This is like make a messy thing, concoction, and that's what today's been. Like, just make whatever. There's probably a better way to do this. I probably should have made that more buggy. But I wanted to cover up that the black spot right there. Let's see. Well, you know. Let's go the other way. That'll be fun. Let's try the other way. See what we get. Probably the other way. That's probably the better way. Because it go with the flow of the where those spots are, right? Makes more sense. And then you got a little bit of silver in between. The pearl in between. But I tied most of it down underneath there. That's the thing. But that's the price of an experiment. Experimenting. But it is shiny in there. So we'll make a shiny. You never know. You never know. You never know, man. You just never know. You just never know. I don't know, man. This is creating something right now. You just never know. Breaking stuff, doing everything. Let's see. No, solid. Be interesting. I'm sure it'll catch pinks though. Pinks bite everything. Pinks bite every dang thing, man. I just wish I could have made this more like fuzzy. More fuzzy. Where's where's my needle go? Oh. Maybe we can still kind of pull some of it out of there. Yeah, all this work just to catch some humpies, right? But I don't know. I think it's fun to like mess around. Like honestly, you could probably fish that like that without wrapping, right? Anything else, and it would look really good, probably. And it had flash to it, just a little bit of it sticking out like that. That part's really good there. It's got crystal flash already, but I think it would be. Yeah, I think that it's starting to look kind of like I was imagining it to be. Kind of not quite like I thought it would be, but it's fun. Play around with it. And since I don't have like that Chanel flash Chanel stuff, it's like this is my flash Chanel, I guess. Chanel. But that fish just like that, with, to me, without me picking this. But it just seems like it'd be cooler to pick it out a little bit. And then wrap the, if I can, it'll let me, it'll cooperate. I gotta be careful because obviously this Chanel can get loose on me. That's what that little chironomid tried to do, but it's because I tying the flasher buoy in, it tried to run away from me. I was chasing that thing. I said, "No, you don't." I was like, "I'm gonna glue that down before you get a chance to get totally away." So I did that way. And this one, so it's like, should I go with it, just like the rest? Go against it with it? With is probably a better choice in this case, I think. Because we got no copper wire or anything in this stuff. We'll see what we get. It's got a cool color combination, definitely. It looks cool. Definitely looks cool. Definitely does look cool. Definitely got a cool look to it. Even if most of it's underneath the chenille, to me, it's still kind of, to me, at least to my eye, it looks pretty cool. A little bit of extra stuff that's not necessarily needed, but I don't know. I think it looks kind of neat. Just to see what it looks like to the, what it looked like to the human eye. I don't know what it looked like to the fish's eye. It didn't look too bad, actually. And it's like kind of translucent in there. Actually looks pretty good. gosh. The trials of having no hackle pliers, man. It's a challenge. It's a different type of challenge, man. It's holding pretty good. But it's all right. Fat cat. Yeah, it'll, I think it's gonna hold. It's just a matter of glue and keeping it in place. True test though, when them teeth on that get a hold of it. That'll be the true test. We got months before that happens, or even maybe testing on some, see if I can catch something else in the lake or something with it. That'll be the true test. See if it'll hold it. So it's kind of like that cotton candy, but it's a little different, I guess. All I do is set fishing lines, catch fish, catch fishermen. I don't know. I catch fish. I just don't. I spent a lot of time fishing just on these crazy fish missions on my own, and I have been to Twin Lakes actually too. I've been up there. K fish. I actually went up there before. Didn't get the fish. I was upset. I just like stood there, watched everybody else fishing there. I was like, man. I was like I was doing some road trips, but they were all in state ones, and we were doing some road trips. Moses Lake, went out to Trout Lake, Dry Falls. Went out to some dock, caught a bass off a dock. Like I just kind of, and I went to another area. I found Chilean. It was pretty cool. I found an area to catch some really nice fish on Lake Chilean. So you can catch them now from shore. Oh man! But when I found that spot, there was somebody who, I don't know. I guess he local or something. He said, "Do not." He told me, "Don't tell nobody about this place." That's what he told me. So I've been trying to keep that one on the wraps. Like it's like, don't tell nobody. This guy told me he's like, I just don't want it to get over crazy. I was like, I know what you're saying, because he was catching them one after another. He was catching trout, but he was catching them one after nice ones. One after another. He's like, I said, man, you're just catching them on that. I said, I tie something like that. So now that place is in my memory to remember to go there and just catch a few. But if I go there, I might do a live there. But I don't know. He has a, the funny part, he told me that, but he has a video. He has a YouTube video there. That's what's funny about it. But you don't. I guess some people don't know where it is, but I know where it is because I was there when he was fishing, and I was checking out all this other stuff, and I was looking at fishing spots and stuff like on Lake Chilean. And there's another place on Lake Chilean, and I haven't been able to find this one spot, and it's a little hidden spot, and I can't. And it's a good place to go in winter, and I haven't been able to find it. And the locals know it, but I know about it too, but I haven't been able to lock down the specific place to go. And that's the whole point, why the locals only know it mostly, and it's because it's a There's a spring in that area. So in winter, those fish are biting right now. Even though it's winter cold, the fish are biting in that area because it's always warm there. It's a hot spring. And it's on part of Lake Chelan, and I think you can find it, but it's just finding exactly where you should be fishing. That was the part. I was trying to find it, but I was trying to find it in summertime, and I was like, I don't know where this spot is. I kind of knew the area, but I was like, I just know it's over here. I know it's on this shore, part of the shoreline. I just don't. It's yeah. Trying to find where that is was kind of a challenge. But that's a good spot to look for lake trout and other trout in the wintertime. Even when it's like ice cold, they're feeding in there like it's summertime. I thought that was a really cool thing about that. That's one cool thing about Lake Chelan. Blue? Hey, it's blue. Purple. Am I blue? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know anymore, man. With the stuff that I've experienced and what has been done to me and situations I've been put in, and you know, Mr. K Fish, you know, stuff that goes on. It'd be a mess. It don't be right. It'd be more to it than what we think. It look more blue, right? It does look blue. Purple blue though. This one's purple. Purple and blue. But you can see let's see. It kind of looks like the cotton candy one though. Oh, my bad. Well, sir, if I would have known. Yeah, you're fine, man. I got you. Fat cat, I got you too. All right. Hold on. There you go. Hold on. I'm just sitting here jabbering. Sometimes you have to be so crazy with your hands on. Evan's laughing. He's like, "What?" Evan usually comes in when I do get on. He comes in. I know there's some other folks that kind of like lurk a little bit. They'll be lurking a little bit because sometimes I talk about other things. I take walks and stuff besides just tying and stuff. The one day I tied in the park though. I was tying in the park on the bench because I was like couldn't do it in the house because there was too much stuff going on, the family and everybody's just people, the dog and everybody just like bees flying around. I was like, I can't tie in here. I can't tie in here with all this stuff going on. But I don't know. What do y'all think? It looks pretty bumped you a little bit, but you know, it looks pretty. See, talk about the dog, and she awake now, but she's making herself known. It looked kind of cool. I mean, all that work just to get that kind of effect, I guess. And, hold on. Nevin always comes in. I've seen Dean a couple times in here. Dean 33. He be in here. Sometimes he comes in like, but usually when I do the stream early in the it'll be like early in the morning, really early in the morning. Like something that's usually I'm cooking. So half the time I've been cooking when that happens, and I was like, somebody's sitting on the stream. I was like, who's that? And then I was like, Dean, Dean sitting there. I'd be having a hard time catching everybody sometimes, but I try to. Like when everybody's fishing, I try to. And I kind of like sometimes I'm like, I gotta go over here. And there's a couple people I mod for too, where I kind of need to be in there, like a little bit, because there'd be weirdness in there, just a little bit. And sometimes there's nobody in there, and I'm like the only one in there. I'm like, oh, I'm the only person in here, and some other channels and other stuff. But yeah, I think that's kind of funny, like channels and stuff and weird stuff and yeah, you're blue. You're blue too. I'm giving trust in y'all, my fellow fishermen, my fellow fishing people. Giving trust in my fellow fishing people. Usually nobody comes in though, because I'm not live on that much. So every once in a while someone does. I think I had like one person when I was tying that one jig. I had one person come in and said something crazy, something crazy, and the AI picked it up. The little YouTube AI picked it up, and then they still kept going, and the AI picked it up again and again and again, and then I was just like, okay, the AI is actually whatever they got going is picking it up and like blocking trying to like review that message, and then I looked at it and I was like, what? I was like, what are they saying? And I was just like, all right, get out on out of here. You're just being crazy. But they on mine rarely people come in. Most people that come in are from other channels too. Like, right? That's usually what happens. But like I get people from other channels, they don't even have to do it fishing because they're just cause I just jack of all trades, you know, just like to hang out and study and learn other stuff too. So I get people from other things and they just come and hang out. And I go over there and hang out with them too, check stuff out. Look, this kind of looks like the cotton candy one though. Sort of. That I made. Which I've made that one before in the past. Something similar, you know. Where is that? Yeah, it's similar to that one with the blue, but it doesn't have the. It's similar. This one's more blue, but it's got purple on top. This one's blue and pink, like the cerise, like fluorescent cerise. It's a little different. Same but different. And then it's got the uh, Flashaboo dubbing type thing under the body. So like the body's kind of got like a translucent look to it, even though it's very slight because it's covered up by the Chanel. I can see it. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's in there. You can see it by the tail pretty good, right in there. You can see it. And then that's the slappy, the slappy, as we like to say, the slappy. And then we just, I believe that's just a type of, it's just a woolly bugger saddle from Hairline, basically, for the purple. All right, I need to get more fluorescent though. More fluorescent dubbing or fluorescent fluorescent chenille hot for flame. I don't know if I like that color. But yeah, I'll twitch that one. This one I'll twitch that one for humpies actually. and have fun doing it. Where's the other one? Yeah, I'll Twitch something like that for humpies. Like, and just have fun. It's weird though, cause I've twitched those for humpies, and been next to someone twitching something similar, and he was catching coho actually with from the pack of humpies. He was picking off coho from the, like, I don't know, like the coho must have been on the outer schools or something of them or something, and he knew where they were. I don't know. He just kind of knew how to, and that was like the biggest run of the in a long time we've had. And he was picking off coho. You know, it was crazy. And I was like, where? How are you catching all these coho and these humpies? Like, but he had Jake kind of like this. He had this color, but a little something was a little bit different about it. So I'm like, is that flame or is it? Maybe it's the way he was doing it and where he was casting it. But he kind of, and he was picking off coho within the outer school of these humpies. And I was like, how are you getting through the humpies to get to those coho? That was what I was trying to figure out. And I was like, well, obviously it's something about where he's casting it or, and that the jig color that he had or something. And he was just, he's like, oh, I got a humpy. And he's like, coho. And I'm like, what? And he's like, okay, humpy. He's like, he already caught a limit of coho. Like, what? I was like, how did you do that? And and then he's like, oh yeah, there's like, he's like, you should use one of these. And I was like, I just kind of looked at him. I'm like, I'm using that. He's like, yeah. He said, but the coho. He's like, no. But I think it was something about where he was at. Like, he was near me, but I think it was something about that hole. He kind of knew like the coho kind of moved to that slot of that part of the river. But he was near me, like he's only a couple yards away. But he just kind of, I think he just been fished it enough to kind of knew like, oh, when the coho come through, you see him, and he would throw in there, catch him. Pink, blue, wait. Fat cat catching them catfish. But that one night, man, I was sitting over there with you I was sitting on there on your live for a minute, like at nighttime for a minute. It was late over there and not that late over here, and I was sitting over there we're sitting out there trying to catch those catfish for a minute. And I was like, man, it's just me. And there was only like I think there's only two other people on the channel on the live at that time. I just sat there. We were trying to catch those catfish. You got the little one. I think you got a little one. But you were out there for a minute. Yeah, I mean, catfishing. Just the people coming to the streams when they come into the streams. Like, I did one stream and I just was like, I'll go do a stream, and then there was 100 and something people in there that came in there, and then did another one. I was like, oh, it was only like 5 people. It's kind of, I don't know, it's weird. Kind of timing too, time of day in the evening when I went in there. Yeah, that's a long time, man. That's a long time. I used to go out for a long time and fish, especially when I had a lot of stuff that had happened. I was like, I'd go fish for it. People would be looking for me. Family would look. They're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Fishing." Where? I'm like, "The one spot." They're like, "Oh, over there." I'm like, "Yeah." Did you get any? One or two. Sometimes none. I'm like, no. Sometimes I just like, that's what I thought about doing. I was like, I might go and just, if it now it warmed up a little bit. We're getting rain. right? So like now we're getting rain. Like so now the snow, the ice went away kind of, and now we got a little warm trend. We're getting towards the end of the month. Now I'm like now, but then it's like oh now it's raining. At least in Washington now it's raining. Now it's doing the Washington thing. It's raining again. It's like ooh fun. It's raining. Oh that's Washington. It's like yeah that's definitely Washington. Well I mean some she came into the channel actually. She was in the channel earlier. She hit 1,000. It was funny that I was talking about her and then she jumped in the channel. I was like, hey. But she hit 1,000. I posted her. She hit 1,000. I was happy for her because that was one of her goals. And I met her and she was visiting up here, and I bumped into her and I was like, oh, I think you'll get it. And she got it like within like the last couple weeks or so. Celebrated that and everything. I was like, that was great. So it can happen, you know. But she's been at it for a long time, doing her channel and stuff. It's just it's and I think it's different content, and I think that's part of it too. The type of content. You get a gist of things when you look at like the shorts and stuff. So, all right, man. I figured, man. I got work, man. It's like 11:30, 11:30 ish. I can barely make that out. Almost, yeah, 11:15 or something. You have a good night, man. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out, shooting the breeze. Oh, it's fun. Travel fishermen's and flat tires, and sometimes just talk about stuff. Enjoy. Well, of course, ladies do. That was one of my jokes about it to that person too, and they we kick it back and forth about that. And she was like, you're funny." And I said, hey, I said, you know them boys be oogling you. She said, I said, that's just kind of how. I said, but it's fine. I'm like, hey, it's just part of. I mean, there's I've seen some channels that are crazier than that. Like it's crazy in there. And then I was modding for one, and we had a falling out, and somebody else, and someone I met in person too, and she was like, I don't trust you. And all this stuff happened, and I said, fine. But her channel used to be just filled with that kind of activity, like, and I used to just be like booting people left and right because it was just always something about some OnlyFans or it was just every other comment was something. It was like she was just like being attacked or something. It was just crazy. It was just like boot, 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 boot. Like literally, I just sit there and I'd like boot like 10 people every 5 minutes. I'd boot somebody. Every 5 minutes, I'll boot somebody out of that channel because it was just like what she's trying to do whatever she's doing. That's her subject matter, and it was just too much. And she said she didn't care, but then it was just like for the people who wanted to like listen to what she's trying to say, or and focus on what's really going on, what the real subject is. They just couldn't do it because there was just so many people just saying crazy stuff because she's a very athletic woman, a very in shape woman. So that's just that's how that goes. You guys see a pretty thing, athletic person, in shapely person for that age. Some guys, especially the younger guys are gonna act a fool. I was kind of laughing because that person has actually visited me one time, actually a long time ago, and it was just sad. Like I lost that friendship basically because all this weirdness started happening, and it's kind of sad. And then I was like, I'm not gonna go on your channel. You blocked me, did all this stuff, assumed all these things instead of just talking to me, and I was just like, I'm just let it go. And then I realized something else was going on in that channel too, with some of the people surrounding her. But some people, once they cut somebody off, they cut them off. They don't know how to. right? They don't know how to. We don't evaluate things properly sometimes, and I've done that too. And I was like, that's why I disappeared. I was like, I'm shutting my channel down. Forget this. When I had my channel before, and I was like, oh, I'm getting out of here. And this is because this is like the third time, fourth time I've had one. And I was like, this time I was like, I'm just gonna leave everything. I'm just gonna leave everything and just keep putting. And if anything weird, some weirdness, I know where it's coming from. And I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna ignore it because I know it's just a bunch of mess. But it doesn't always work like that. You know, not everybody's gonna be able to see. Yeah, it's like, you know what that reminds me of? You know this? Didn't it like Captain America kind of, sort of? Isn't it like Captain America blue? It's not really red though, but like, isn't that kind of like Captain America color more so than? It's kind of like Captain America, but it's pink. It's like it's kind of like Captain America color or something. I just thought about it, I was like, that's like Captain America. The blue, there's white. This is like Series. It's the series. It's like pink, but it's not. It's kind of like Captain America color, kind of, sort of. Yeah, the channel stuff is kind of funny, and I don't have, like I don't have tons of subs or anything, but like, and I hope something. Maybe I will eventually, but I've seen some stuff with the channels. Miss America, yeah, yes, because it's the softer colors of the softer times. I would hope that like it would turn out that way with the channel, but like some of the stuff I've had happen and like stuff I've seen, I'm like I'm like, whoa, what's that all about? I'm like, I understand what it's about, but at the same time, I've seen some stuff where like, oh, that's a cool person. And I was like, why did that happen like that? And I was like, oh, obviously someone don't want me conversing with this person, so then they made it happen like that. Someone else outside, I was like, that's not cool. I was like, that person actually visited me one day. That's crazy. That person visited me. That's what the craziest part. They flew all the way from where, or I believe they flew all the way from where they are, East Coast almost, to here one time to visit me. And I was just like, it was like a surprise. I didn't know they were like, they're like, I might visit you, and that's all I heard, and I didn't hear nothing from them, and they visited me, and I was shocked. And then what happened was I lost that phone, lost all them numbers, and then I was like, I saw that person again, and I reconnected, and then everything went haywire. It was sad. So it's sad that that went haywire twice. It's like, that's sad. It's sad in a way. It's like, dang, that was like, I enjoyed talking to that person. Fun hanging out. Like, it's fun. Yeah, like I would have fun talking to that person, regardless of what their job title was. And I don't want to get into that, but that was fun. It was fun, like learning, because I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a lot of things about certain job titles that are people look down on, and stuff. And I learned a lot about like how they viewed it and stuff, and why they why they were doing that job, and they had a different way of going about it versus like what you normally hear about. So can't always judge a book by its cover. You need to like sit there and talk to some people. Sometimes you got to really get to know and talk to them. And even then, sometimes sitting in a room with them for a couple minutes ain't enough. You need to really sit there and you're like, okay, they did something wrong a little bit. Okay, let me talk to them. Okay. I kind of understand. When did when was the last time you went live, Fat Cat? If you're in here, if you're in here, yesterday. What time did you go? What time did you go live? I've been getting sidetracked by everybody. Now, like I look at that thing, I see that little red light that I go and click on it. Oh, then somebody else gets on live, and then then I see Jose. Jose, like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here. Then I find myself like going boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, did I miss anybody? I don't know. And then someone else is going, turning their live, getting out of their live, and then someone else is jumping on there. So I'm like, oh, 11, 1. Okay, yeah, because I'd be missing them. I get some, and then I was like, somehow I got got to some newer ones, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, someone else is in here. I had to recognize. And I was, okay, I don't remember being over here. Like somehow because it filtered me over into these other ones, and I'm like, oh, these are over here. And obviously, I'm over here on the West Coast, so it's a little different for us with the lives and stuff. But I noticed for some reason it seems like all the lives I've been in, they filter me over. I've been getting a lot of East. Everybody's in East Coast. Like everybody's in Illinois. Everybody's in Minnesota. Everybody's in Canada. Everybody's in Virginia. Everybody's in Florida. Everybody's like, and then over, and only a few in Washington. Like 3 or 4. Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. Like it seemed like for some reason I filtered over there, but I think it's because I'm partially, from over there anyway. Technically, the family lines kind of come from over there anyway. But I will do my live about my live way. Oh, yeah, you're saying something about that. You built the. You tell me about that. You built the you built the live well or whatever. Hi, Sarah. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, you decided to come hang out with me for a little bit. Decided to come hang out. Well, we tied a lure. You can see it's colorful. I was calling it Captain America, but he was like, "It's Captain." It's like it's Captain Women. He said he's Captain Women because it's like because the color is like kind of pink, but it's got like blue and it's like there's actually purple in there. Yeah. Yeah, there was. It was actually that was funny. You said about the mod, like K Fish. This he fishes. He's from my state. But he's way north of me, and he's like, I'm not blue yet. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm just sitting there chatting, chatting away. I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm mind you, man. You're cool, man. It's like you're all right, man. Like, yeah, we go through things, people and stuff. But it's like, no, we fish and stuff. We agree on our fishing and our tie and stuff. I know that is to be right. We agree on that. And the stuff we see sometimes when we go out fishing and stuff, because he's from this state too, so like he understands. I'll be like, "You ever seen this before? Ever seen this before?" He's like, "Yeah, those people at the fishing hole, they fighting for the spot." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Like, yep, yep. Almost everybody. Well, almost everyone that I almost get to talk to daily, almost is came in actually today. Came in tonight actually. That surprised me. That's cool though. That's cool. That's a good thing. Almost everybody's kind of like came in and just kind of like hung out, checked out the tying. I was able to show off that fly, that nymph, Fat Cat. Did I show it? Did you see it? I think I showed it a couple times. I think Fat Cat, you saw it. If you're still in here, I think you saw it. But I was able to show it off because the camera, when I took a picture of it, it just doesn't. It just you can't. If you look, you can't get that. You see what I'm saying? With the picture, if you look at it, you just can't get that it's too translucent, if that makes sense, to where you have to set the camera settings right to get that to even, you know, because it's just too shiny. It's got too much of translucentness going on with it for you to be able to pick it out when you do these small ones. This one was easy to take a picture of, but like some of them, it's just that's a small item for a trout to pick up. So imagine when you try to take a camera and try to get the colors of an intricate thing that you tied. Like you gotta look and see how that green is under there. It can be very difficult. Yeah, a lot of times I don't even fly fish these though. Um, I put them under a bubble, or I'll put them with a split shot and cast them with a spinning reel because there's a few places. That's what I was talking about. That one river that's not far from me, but it's not open till it won't be open till like June, like the beginning of June. Um, and that's great trout, rainbow trout fishing in there. There's steelhead in there. There's coho in there. There's sockeye in there, but and there's smallmouth basket in there. Largemouth can get in there, but a lot of times when you catch them in there, they're smaller because the current is really fast. It's very clear water. So you got to find like a little hole or a pocket, something to catch, so you can catch it. There's catfish can get in there too. There's catfish in there too. There's some backwaters a little bit on there, but the water's very clear and fresh, and it's really cold even in summertime. You can get hypothermia in there in summertime. It's that cold. Water's that cold from where it comes from, and it runs into the lake over here, and yeah, like that's a great fly fishing place. But sometimes I can't even fly fish that water because certain spots are like there's like a couple spots, like there's like a pillar from the like there's like a pillar from it's supporting one of the roads, and that pillar's so far out into the river, you can't cast that with a fly line unless you wade in to that river, and then you can't wade that far without logging yourself anyway. So you need to be able to cast then instead. And so I don't even bother wading in there anyway because there's leeches in there too. It's a clear river, but there's leeches in there. I've seen the leeches on the bottom moving, and I've been bitten by leeches in that river before. I've been bitten by leeches before, and I didn't have a fun day. Sir, you ever seen leeches are? If you're still in here, they're not they're not fun. I'll tell you that. When they get on you, they're not fun. Yeah, those ain't fun. They say it doesn't hurt because they use like something so it doesn't hurt. Yeah, they're full of crap. It hurts. It hurt. I felt the pain on my hand. I looked down as a leech on my hand got on me, and I was like, it felt like somebody pinching really hard, like pinching, like a pinching sensation. And I was like, well, I feel like my finger, and I kept like flicking my finger, because I kept feeling a pinching, and I thought it was like something like the stick or something, because I had reached in the water. That's what it was. And what it was is when I reached in the water, the leech got on me, and it was because I snagged a stick from the bottom of the river, and I didn't realize there were leeches on the stick, and the leeches got on me, and these little black leeches got on me, and they're about like that big, they're about like not that long, and they got on me, and I was like taking my hand, I was like my hand, and I was like still trying to fish, and then I was like my hand, and I looked, and he was just going to town like on the corner of my hand, and I was trying to like flick it, and I was like pulled him off, and when I pulled it out, oh, it hurt so bad. I was like, man, that little thing hurts so bad, that little thing, and they said they don't hurt. I said that thing hurt. That hurt really bad. Yeah, it actually hurt kind of like I don't know. There's different species of them too, depending on what state you're in and stuff. But or what in other countries too, like Brazil and different places, like they got some. Them leeches be walking on the ground. You ever seen a leech walk on the ground? When I saw a leech walk on the ground, I said, "Oh man, it was walking on the ground." I said, "That is crazy." Those leeches are crazy in the jungles and stuff. Those leeches are crazy because they're because it's damp. They're not even in the water. They're just in like the forest because it's like damp enough and rains enough. So they're just there. So when you walk through, you stir them up and they just can get on you. I'm like, ugh. I saw that. I said, there's like 50 leeches in that little like pathway. I was like, oh. I said, no wonder when people go there, they do these jungle trips and stuff. They talk about how crazy it was. It's like, oh, some of those areas are just like, oh. I was like, no, no. But that's nature for you. It is old medicine to take the leech and then uh, it works, like they used to use it to keep the blood from like coagulating. Like that's how they like it saved a lot of people from losing their toes and stuff by putting the leeches on them. So because like the blood flow got cut off, so instead of having to amputate, they were able to not keep them from amputating by putting the leeches on there to keep, because it makes it not the blood not coagulate, get thick. So then it could like bring circulation back to that part of the limb or the part of the like finger or whatever it was, and that saved that person from losing their finger or losing their toe or whatever it was. I thought that was pretty cool. And I saw something. I was looking at a thing about it, and they were talking about how they did that with some people. But having them wild ones on, those are medicine leeches. They're in purified, clean water, purified, raised for that. That's not good. Leeches between your toes. No. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. And I found this thing. I think it was glasses. No, maybe it was glasses. I think it was glasses though. Yeah, I've been using this now because I'm like the show because those little small flies are they're just a little too much to try to. You can't get a good picture of them very well. That's bad. You're sick. Sick, sick, sick. Is it the flu? Do you have the flu or is it something else, sir? Oh, that's well, wonderful. So you went on a little adventure journey, and then you came back with the flu. Are you sure about that? Sure you got the flu? Are you sure about that? I don't think I've had the flu, but I've got, I had a really bad injury, something hot metal going through me. And that's a horrible feeling. You don't feel it at first, but you feel it after once it's done its damage. You feel it then, and what it's doing, it's not no fun. Um, but I think I had what did they call it? It was like bacterial, and they were like, it's a bacterial throat infection. I was like, how did I get that? And they're like, we don't know. And I was like, and it was almost like it gave me like a strep throat or something, sort of type of thing. And that was really bad. And like it was so bad, like I almost couldn't do anything. That one, that's I've only been sick really bad, like a couple times where like I was like please, I need to go to the doctor. Like I'm dying, man. Like it's like I'm dying, man. Where actually like it's like a bug getting me, and that was one of the times. And I didn't go to school for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Everybody's like, "We thought you moved or you died." And then when I came back to school, all these little kids were like, "You thought you died?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "I didn't die." I was sick, and I wasn't the only one who got sick like that. And then someone else got sick, and then I was like, "See," and it was like going around. Then we found out that it was like going around a little bit, and then they were sick for like 2 weeks. And they were like, "Yeah," they're like, "It was." They were like, "It was not fun." They're like, "It wasn't fun." I was like, "Yeah, it was horrible, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's horrible, horrible." I don't know. Are you? Are you really you? Am I me? Sometimes I don't know if I'm me. Sarah, am I me? I think I'm me. I think I'm Run. Yeah, I'm Run. I think I'm me for the most part. I think you're you from what I know. I don't know. Only time will tell. I think you're you. I mean, a lot. I mean, in this world, a lot of people wear masks. I mean, let's just all be honest. Some have masks that we think have masks that it didn't, while someone else created a mask that of what they are, what really isn't, and they try to put something on them to make them that to appear bad. Some people aren't as bad as you think they are. Some people are as bad as they are. Some people aren't as bad, aren't don't look bad at all, and they really are like a demon walking around, and you don't even know it. How crazy it is. So that's the kind of world we live in. Like, and I don't think it matters where you are, what country you're in. That applies to me. I apply that to everywhere I go now because of what I've experienced. I apply it to everywhere. I was like, oh, that person's approaching me and I don't know. I'm like, you know, I kind of go, like, okay, all right, okay. Then other people, like, no. You try, discernment, right? You try to use some like discernment. Let's see if this drink's dry right here. Yeah, it's pretty dry now. I think yeah, that looks like Captain America to me. I don't know. It's definitely fishy. It's shiny in the center. When you say bro, when you say the word bro, and you're supposed to be a lady, I don't know. Are you a lady or you're a dude? We don't know. See, we don't know because we're on the digital highway right now, so we don't know. Someone asked me that about my street name, and I was on their channel, and I just started laughing, and I was there like, "Are you a?" I was like, they're like, "Well, I gotta ask because people do that," and I was like, "You're right. Some people do that." And they'll pretend to see, and that's the world we live in. Like that some people go to those lengths. So don't know. And I've seen people on lives take a screenshot of people's picture, and that was crazy. I seen people take a screenshot of someone's picture and then jump in someone's other live and then start spamming in there, and I'm like, that's someone else's channel that I was just on 2 days ago, or like, and we were talking about cooking or something. I was like, what? Or we were talking about like uh, something they were selling. So you have to, that's what it is. So people are aware of that such thing. They're not. Sometimes people don't know which way is up or down, so they're evaluating it constantly because of the way the internet has been. Check that out. Fat Cat, if you're in here, check that out. You ever seen those? That is Big Bass food right there. I don't know if you want to. I don't know. I don't know if Is that possible to see you live? I don't know. I'm not concerned about it. I mean, it'd be great to see, like I'm talking right now, but you can't really see my face, but you can see my cool hands. I don't like this. I think my lure's falling apart right here. That's not good. I think that'd be cool. I mean, why? What has brought that on, Sarah? What's brought that on? Like, what's brought that on to think like that? Like, obviously something was said to you or something. We're just chatting here on the stream. I'll probably put this stream will probably go into private after they process it. I don't know how when they process it. Sometimes they edit things out. The AI does things with the processing of these things. But someone said that to you. I don't know. I think it's weird that you. I did think it was weird that you say bro. Usually guys kind of say bro. Women usually only say bro if it's like when they know someone a certain kind of way, a certain time, or they're like, okay, you're in, or like it's friend zoney, or yeah, they don't just say like, or they don't just say bud like right out, like start saying bud right off the bat. They usually don't do that. So okay, definitely, yeah, you can do that, definitely. So then because we don't, never know who's listening in here, but nothing. We're not talking about nothing crazy or anything. So yeah, go ahead and message me in Discord. Not a problem. I think I'm gonna get ready to shut the live down. I've been on here for 3 hours and 42 minutes. So I didn't think I was gonna be on here this long. And I only tied 2 lures, but I was enjoying just talking to everybody and stuff, kicking the breeze tonight. So yeah, just message me in this Discord. Ask away. Talk away. I'll try to give my best balanced opinion if I can. Try to be somewhat non-biased. I try to be. Difficult it is these days with the stuff we got going on in this world. But yeah, I try to be understanding of people and stuff best I can. Sometimes I'm not, but I try to be. Try to be like, okay, well, let me analyze it first. Okay, that's okay. This is okay. Then this makes sense why this was like this. Try to be that way. I think I'm gonna tie tomorrow morning. I'm gonna tie something tomorrow morning. I'm gonna come up with something. I don't know what I want to do though. Later, Evan. Tight lines for sure. Next month, like it's getting warm. I feel bass. I feel like rainbow cutthroat trout. Yeah, I can see it like a week and a half from now on my hook. I can see it right now on my fishing line right now. I can see my live like a week and a half, maybe like now, 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks now, maybe like Thursday, like or Tuesday, something like that. Tuesday or something. I can see rainbow trout or cutthroat or maybe a large smallmouth bass. Maybe I'll like sight fish a largemouth if I get lucky if the weather is right. Maybe maybe I'll get into something. Yeah, you have a good night, Evan. Evan G. You too, Sarah. Message me in the Discord, and I usually reply. I don't. If I don't reply, I'm literally probably driving or running around somewhere, and I hear the notifications and stuff. Usually, I try to get to all the notifications, but sometimes I get so many from everybody, the channels and stuff. I can't get to everything, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to lose my mind trying to answer everything. Trying to like, someone posted. Oh, it's just a post. It's like, oh, that's just okay. Like, okay, well, I can check it out. Oh, okay, I like that post. Oh, all right. Well, it is now. Oh boy, it's getting late. I know for some of y'all, it's probably really late. It's 11:43 p.m. here. Don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I have no idea. I haven't seen him on there in a long time, in a while, and he was on today, and I went and said hey for a little bit, sat in there, and then there were some people that don't usually sit in there that were there, and some of them regular people usually there, and then a couple new people, and then uh, and I talked to Candy a couple days ago, but she was in another chat, and I just talked to her in there. Wasn't really surprised what chat she was on. Nothing weird about that. I was just like, there was nothing weird about what chat she was on and modding for. Nothing weird. I was just like, oh, I expected you to be over here, whatever. I just didn't expect it to drop into my feed, and I was just like, oh yeah, Candy's over here. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you mod over here sometimes. And then the person who runs that channel, who owns that channel, who has that channel, was like, what are you doing? Hey, I was like, I'm not being rude. I'm not. And then she was like, no, run's cool, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's a different Evan. She thinks you're Evan. She was wondering if you're a different Evan from somewhere else, another channel, Evan G. I think she was thinking you're from another channel, this other channel. I met Sir on another channel, and she comes in, checks out the chats for a little bit, and we talk when I'm doing the tying and stuff. So she comes in, hangs out for a little bit. So I think she thought you were from a different channel, or from that channel, because that person has someone named the same name. Me too. A lot of people do, and then they got screen names and all kind of stuff. Sometimes people be worrying about somebody talking crazy to others, and I know all about that and all about the gossip in this world. And I try not to, because I know that YouTube's a funny place, and I already had something weird happen like earlier last week, and I was laughing about it because I was like, this person, that's a crazy story. That's a funny story in itself. I was telling somebody about it recently, and they were like, that person probably was just trying to get you stirred up. And it was just, they thought I was trying to start something in some channel. And this is the second time they said this, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I think what it was is another channel I was in. They talked about something on their live chat, and that's what it was. And they thought from what the person said, and then they brought up my screen name. That person assumed I was starting trouble in there on that person's channel, and I wasn't. What it was is I asked that person some questions, and I gave them I gave them some information, just like communicated with them on it, but through email. But the other person heard it. Sir, it's funny. The other person heard it, I guess, or assumed something that I caused that was causing problems for that person's channel had nothing to do with them. But when I went to the other channel to watch some fishing, I just like woke up in the morning. I was like, oh, this person's fishing, and they're like in Australia. Like it's early in the morning. Yeah, it's like afternoon for them, whatever. This person thought I was trying to cause problem in that channel because of something they saw when they saw me in another channel. And they didn't know why that was coming up on that channel as part of the topic. But part of the topic was because I emailed that person about a question I had. And I was telling him something that pertained to some of the stuff he did. He that's what he talks about. And so I knew what he meant and why he was being aggressive while he was talking about it, but the other people didn't know what it meant. And I was like, no, I'm not doing nothing to this person. Like, I just told him some facts and that was it. And but that other person from the other channel was in there in that chat room, just happened to be in there. Simple misunderstanding, but that other person just went and jumped to conclusions. It was like, you better not. And they were mod in that channel that I was just watching the fishing in, but I'm not mod in there. And there's other people I know in that channel from other fishing channels. I was just like, I know of them, and I mod for some of them, but not all of them. But they know of me, and they just, oh, hey, what's up? When they see me in there, I support. And I say, hey, what's up? I'll give you a like. Yeah, just watch what are you doing? You making a jig, or I just kind of like hang out for a minute, and then I'll take on off. And that is just supporting folks because I like to fish, or I like to hear about science or whatever it is, whatever subject I like. If I like how they talk about it, or and that's what it was. And that person just went like, "No, you better not try. It does matter to me." It was like they own the channel, and I was just like, "This is that person's channel who's fishing, not yours." I understand you're in the acting mod there, and you could be the managing mod there, but like, I was like, "What is going on here?" Yeah, it was weird, and I was like, "Okay." And then after that, every time I see that person's screen name now, I'm like, if I see them in any channel, I'm like, I won't say anything because that's what they did. They just sat there and lurked, So I was like, I don't say anything. I just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to comment in this channel. I'm just going to sit here. And even if it's a channel I like before, I would comment or just laugh about something. Now I'm like, I don't do that. I was just like, I'll just sit there just because of that person. Sometimes. Just because of that person. There's only like three people I feel like that about out of all the channels. And I just kind of like, I ain't gonna say nothing. Because I watch their mannerisms when I pop into the channel too. They're like some of the channels, I watch their mannerisms when they see my screen name pop up too, how they react. And I'm like, oh. I probably won't be sleeping till late today. But yeah. Discord, I got you. Yeah, message me on Discord when you get the chance. I'll respond. I'm gonna be up at like 6:30, 6:30ish probably. I'll probably be up at like 6:30, 6:45. So on my time, West Coast time. I'll be up. All right. Bye, Evan. Bye. We're not thinking. Yeah, what did you didn't say anything crazy or anything. You just said you're just feeling a certain way about weird stuff or something. Nothing wrong with that. Later. Like simple and plain as that. Nothing crazy. Night, y'all. Not everybody. I'm gonna get off here too. And it's been almost 4 hours. So, and I don't think I'm gonna tie another one. So, I'm gonna probably get a soda or some water or something, and ice water, and sit down somewhere. Tie again in the morning. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming to the stream. Anybody in the chat? If there's anybody on the chat right now, drop a like before we get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the chat, and enjoyed the nice, pleasant candor and talk. We're out of here. Peace. Bye. Night.